Rami is our host, Rami. Okay, and I'll be coming back here in May. Yeah, and in here we'll be doing a New World Practitioner course, which is Wolfe non-surgical and a whole life coach. The whole life coach is first, and it's a 9-day. It's a certification. Some people will come and take it because they want to go. They want to go deep and they want to go intense. I'm going to talk about each thing, and then you'll understand why I'm talking about it. Just know this, and I mean this in the best way. But every one of you want different. There's not one person in here that doesn't want different. Did you ever notice something? You're different never lasts, does it? Never lasts. And I'm going to tell you something right now, and I mean this in the nicest way. But for 9,999 people, and my stats are pretty close to correct. So please challenge me on that, but they're correct. Okay. I'm going to say things that are going to go, well, that's not true, or it's going to challenge your belief systems. All right. And the reality is this is you don't know this part, but it's true. 90%, most of you don't, or some of you don't. Maybe all of you know, but that would be very unusual. That your brain is not intelligent, and your brain is not stupid either, and it is intelligent. It depends on what's in it, and everything is built on belief systems. And everybody here believes that your personality is your personality when it actually isn't. The personality you actually have is the 5 people that raised you from 0 to 7, closest to you. That's your personality. It's not really your personality. And the only reason why you're here is because there's parts in your life that aren't working, and you keep on hitting bumps. And the reality is, if you don't want to understand that your brain, 90% of it is your subconscious. How many people know that you're only in a present moment 2% of the day? Yeah?
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, and that's why most of you were wearing masks during the whole COVID. Okay, because you weren't in the present moment. Because if you actually looked up what a virus was, you'd know it was dead. And you'd know that it's not actually an organism that died. It's just chemicals. And it's actually, most of those are man-made chemicals. And that's why people are getting worse conditions of that. And I can prove it if you want to test me. But the reality is how many in here looked up what the definition of a virus was in the dictionary? Nobody. Nobody did. Okay? So just now know that you've been ruled, schooled, and fooled. But you haven't been ruled, schooled, and fooled regarding that. You've been ruled, schooled on everything. How many people here believe that the medical system is called healthcare and that it actually is healthcare? Then that means that you're all drug addicts. Okay? And you think I'm putting them down? I'm not. If you have to take a drug to numb your pain out, go ahead. But just remember something. There's never been a drug that's been prescribed to a child or to an adult that actually wasn't toxic. You do know that they're all made out of petroleum, right? So how much gas do you need to fill yourself up with? Okay, so let's understand something. The human body is an emotional body, yes or no? Well, that's how we function. And for most of you, it's going to be a curse for the rest of your life. How many here people do not react and attack? How many people here, when something dramatic happens, you take a deep breath, you put a slight smile on your face before you make a decision to do something? None of you. That would be the first thing. How many people know that if you actually connected to your breath and did 6 seconds in, 7 seconds out, and you took that breath 3 times and you had a slight smile on your face, you wouldn't have a migraine headache or be exhausted, or you wouldn't attack the other people? And for those of you who have your arms crossed, if you could drop them, that'd be great. That's subconscious blocking me, and I won't be blocked, especially when it's a free lecture and you don't even know you're doing it. And it's usually men because they're not very open. Okay? So just know that. Men are not open. Men are closed. If it wasn't for the men, we wouldn't be in this situation today. So just know that, and I'm part of the problem. Okay? The reality is women are born caring. Men don't care. Okay? All right? They're just programmed, but we're all programmed. Take a look at every woman that's programmed. The woman that suffers the most is the most loving mother or wife. Every time somebody suffers in the family, the more the woman suffers, the more that she's showing that she's a good woman. A man the more that he's exhausted when he comes home and he has a headache and he's just worked so hard all day, then he's showing his family that he loves them. All that's crap. Just know that the majority of the population is screwed. And you can say, what an arrogant guy he is. I'm not arrogant. I've been doing this for over 40 years. If I were to go through everybody's cupboards here, I'd find more poisons that would kill a horse in your house. From the cleaning products to the things you eat to the things you drink. You don't do the research. You just do what everybody else does. We do what everybody else does. Okay? We do what everybody else does. Okay? All right? If we were to go back 100 years, well, actually, we'd have to go back 120 years. How many people know or have watched my masterclass called Medical Mafia? It goes through the whole last 120 years, and it proves to you that medical system, the doctors were called quacks, and we were not. Now we're the quacks. And the reality is this, is everything you get from pharmaceutical is drugs, right? Okay. And everything you get, those drugs are made out of petroleum, right? I don't remember the body running on petroleum. Now, I do understand that you might want to dumb yourself down from the pain sometimes, right? But the reality, if you get hooked on these drugs, they're nothing more than the same as out in the street. So you need to get that. You know, I'll be 67 years old, and most of my staff are less than half my age. And they can't even come close to me with energy and what I get done in a day. I'm in the present moment. And you know how you stay in the present moment? You don't take anything personal. Let's see if you can get through this lecture here without taking something personal. I bet you can't. Oh, he's such a dick. Oh, he's such a prick. Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And guess what? That's because it didn't match your beliefs. It's the funniest thing. You just told me you wanted your life different, but now you don't want any different beliefs. Isn't that something? Well, that's the way humans are built. You actually think that the human brain was actually built by God Almighty. Well, good luck with that. The reality is who needs a brain that's 90% of subconscious, which is a storage shed for beliefs? Well, I'll tell you why. Because from 0 to 7, everything that is done around you from 0 to 7, you take in as truth. You don't even question it. There's no filters from a child from 0 to 7. You do know that, right? They're in a theta state. They're in a trance state. So, you know, the Catholic Church, you know what they say? What's the Catholic Church say? Give me a child from 0 to 7, and that child will be enslaved with us forever. So the reality is this: you actually didn't have a choice. Your personality, you didn't have a choice. Your personality was a mixture of the 5 people that raised you, the closest people to you, but mainly your mother and father. You know, parents aren't even awake today. Do you know how many times that I'm called in? I probably do, for consultations right now, an average of anywhere from 2 to 5 consultations a week. Okay. And they're usually for anywhere from around 11 years old into the 20s. And it's the parents paying for it because the child is out of control. And the reality is the parents were out of control all their life, and they couldn't realize it, and they didn't realize it. And that's why the child's out of control. And I've never done a consultation where all I had to do was just build a strategy for that child or for that teenager from the minute they rise until they close their eyes. And then I had to talk to the parents and have the parents understand that they were the toxic ones, but they don't want to, right? You know, parents don't understand, or people don't understand, that when you have a child, that child is a pure spirit. That child is going to mimic whatever the parents do. Okay. As soon as it can walk and talk, it's acting like mommy and daddy. So when you're upset with that child, you're actually upset with the parts you don't like about yourself. But meanwhile, we punish the child. The world's really messed up right now. You do know that, right? You do know that you judge me and I will never judge you. You do know that, right? You judge me and I'll never judge you. It doesn't matter to me what illness you have, what color your skin is, what your religion are, what your beliefs are. You can hate me today. You can love me today. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to love you anyway. And what does that give me more? More energy. I'll live longer. I won't have digestive problems. Because I understand something. How many different people are here, and how many different people with different beliefs are on this planet? And you have a problem with every time that somebody has a different belief than you. And most people have a problem if, like when I say this, like, there's always going to be people that are going to attack you, but you got to stand in your power. It's an inner standing that you have to love and care for yourself. You do understand, I do not care what you think about me. You do understand that I will love you anyway, no matter if your beliefs match mine or not. But you've been taught to only love those people that your beliefs match theirs, and that's the truth. And even if your child starts to pull away, or somebody in the family starts to pull away, okay, because they want to try to find themselves, you get all pissed off. The reality is that you can come and take like a whole life coach course. And we have people taking the whole life coach course, which is a 9-day course, from a housewife to an accountant to a lumberjack to you name it. And then we'll have doctors, medical doctors, chiropractors, nurses, more and more now, because they're displaced. So they're actually coming to us to be retrained. So you need to get that. Don't care if you disrespect me. I'm one of the best practitioners on the planet, and I know it. And you can go, wow, what an ego. I would never come to him. Well, good. Guess what? I'm also one of the only practitioners that offers a money-back guarantee on all the consults I do. And the first body work that we do, we will promise you that we will do more and give you more results in that first treatment than all of the other treatments together. So now tell me I'm arrogant. Now tell me that the body work out there is working, because it's not. Now tell me that the therapy out there on an emotional level is working. How many people go to psychologists, psychiatrists? How many people go to counselors continually and they get nowhere? Because you're never going to get anywhere. Are you ready to change your personality? Because that's the only time you change your reality. Are you actually going to change the way you think about things, about yourself, your family, the world? If you're not going to, then don't worry about it. I can help you though. We can get you on nutraceuticals. We can show you how to detox, and you can turn the burner down somewhat. But until you change your personality, you've changed nothing. So understand something. But then here's the deal. I run what's called the World Healing and Training Institute in Mexico, and right now they are slowly shutting that down. And I only built it a year and a half ago. It's one of the biggest training and healing institutes in North and South America. And guess what? Now I'm going to go on a world tour for 8 months, and then I'm going to reopen, and I have a story to tell you. Okay? We make these promises to people when they come to us. The world does not like us making promises like this, because then it's saying that the things out there are not as good as they should be. Well, please, really? 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 Are we serious here? 90% of the population has an autoimmune disease. That means that they were first attacking themselves on an emotional level, now on a physical level. They don't have one, they don't have two, but most people have three. We know that over 50% of the population, okay, over 50% will be fighting for their life with cancer. We also know that cancer has been made to be a death sentence, and that's bull. It's not a death sentence. Cancer is stage 4 inflammation. How do you get inflammation? We're going to talk about that. You get inflammation because guess what? You're not yourself. You're not yourself. How many people here watch the news? Put your hands up. Please don't lie. Yeah, don't want to hang around with you. Don't want anything to do with you. The news, and I don't, not about the conversations you're going to have with me, because they're lies. The reality is that the news is only there to create fearful people, so that they create fearful children and fearful wives and fearful husbands. And then we talk about it at the table, and now we don't digest our foods, and then we can't go to sleep at night. I don't watch the news. I have nothing to do with the news. I don't have nothing to do with politics. I have nothing to do with religion, and I have a really great life. I'm not telling you not to. I'm just trying to tell you something you got sucked in. And then you're going to say, well, you don't know what you're talking about, Darrell. And I probably don't, but I'm having a good time. So the reality is you go ahead and watch the news and scare the shit out of yourself because you want to be worldly. Well, you're not worldly. Okay, you're going to be toxic. Take a look at the way you feel after you watch it. Take a look at the way you feel through it. You have doubt on the world. And so you have to understand something. Our government has an internal government, and that's why Americans' biggest soap opera, okay? Our biggest soap opera is our government, okay? That's our soap opera. You know, I'm for red or I'm for blue. You know what? Don't you think? Don't you think it would be great that if we just stopped talking about that? Who cares if we're red and blue? Who cares if we're yellow or black? Who cares if we're Christian or Catholic? What about unconditional love for our brothers and sisters and stop poisoning each other? How about stop murdering each other? How about stop saying that medical care is health care? How about stop freaking out when your child has a fever, and why don't you give your child a little warm water enema with some tummy love, and the fever will be down in 5 to 10 minutes. No, why don't you just rush the child off, freak out like the child's going to die, go to the hospital, stay there for 2 hours, and the child's freaking out because everybody else in emergency is there because why? Because mom and dad is in emergency, and you're in emergency because you didn't calm down. So if I were to go through your cupboards, I see more cancer causing stuff in fridges than you shake a stick at, and then you tell me you eat well. Don't even know what eating well is. Okay. And you don't ever have to be like me. But see, the thing is I don't find my joy in 4 inches. I don't find my joy in 4 inches. That's right. You eat when you're tired. You eat when you're bored. You eat when you celebrate. Oh, and by the way, every time you celebrate, you poison yourself, don't you? Every time you have a celebration, what are you eating? What are you drinking? Poisons. It's very easy to program a human being to destroy themselves with petroleum products and chemicals in all the foods that we eat mainly, so that we can take more petroleum chemicals to get rid of the pain until the infection is so bad from all the toxins that it creates inflammation. And what is inflammation? Inflame. What's inflame? It's a burner, isn't it? Inflame. Well, why do you think you're stiff? So when you inflame, you drop your pH. You can't become acidic. If you become too acidic, what's the cause of cancer? What's the cause of every autoimmune disease? When you drop your pH and you become too acidic. Because when you drop your pH, that's a fire. And whenever there's a fire, it eats up oxygen. And it eats up the oxygen in the cells. How many people know there's no such thing as cancer? You can call it cancer. But the reality is you have too much inflammation. You're stressing yourself out. You're not eating right. So what happens is then you get inflamed, and then it eats up the oxygen in the cells. Cells say, I don't want to die. So then the cells live off of sugar, which is not hard. How many people know, okay, that we eat 20 to 40 times more sugar than we did 50 years ago? Okay, well, no, but you're all doing good. And you all eat a really great diet. Are you like crazy? No, you don't. You eat a great diet to the person who's killing themselves totally outright, 100% doing it. Hardly anybody eats well. We don't look like we look and feel like we feel because we're doing that good. So understand that. Just know this, and I'm not the bearer of bad news. I'm the bearer of telling you the truth, and that's why I piss people off. The reality is that if they do nothing else and they don't do another V attack on us, okay, all right, 40% of the population will not be here by 2030 because they're eating themselves to death. They're partying themselves to death. They're celebrating themselves to death. They're self-loathing. How many of you always talk down on yourself? How about everybody in here to a certain degree? The world will always try to make you feel like you're not good enough. Tell the world to piss off, because most people are just nasty. Hurt people, yes or no? When you're hurt, do you hurt the people you love? Yes, you do. Okay, when you're not feeling good and you got cramps and a headache, are you fun to be with? Right? Most of you have cramps and headaches all the time. So what kind of love relationship is that? Unless you love yourself, you can't love another. Unless you're willing to observe the world and not judge it. How many people believe that you can judge somebody and not put them in jail? How many people do you let off the hook? Do you ever let yourself off the hook? The reality is that these psychos, the ones we're talking about, right? Well, the reality is they really don't want what they say they want. They only want half of it. If you want something for your car, you're going to ask more because they're going to talk you down. So that you really don't want to knock off that many people, just half of them. You have to understand it's just a game. There's an evil entity that lives on this planet. Religious people call it the devil. But there's an evil entity that feeds off the suffering of people. But you live off the suffering of your family. If you're not feeling good, they're not going to feel good. If you don't look after yourself and love and care for yourself, and then you don't know how to do it for your family either. I will, and I don't mean this I am no smarter than anyone else. I just have beliefs that love and care for me more than 9,999 people out of 10,000. I actually, and you got to get this, do not care what people think about me. I have one law. That's it. Unconditional love. Do no harm to anyone, not myself or anyone else. So if you don't like me, it's only because my beliefs don't match yours. Or you think that I'm being self-centered because I've centered into myself and I'm in control of my emotions and my physical body. And that pisses you off. You believe that suffering for your children, your husband, your wife, and your kids are going to get you a place in heaven. You believe that the more you suffer, the more love that you have for your family. So if you really want to know the truth of where we're going, that's where we're going. And we're in big trouble. Because we have never been programmed into this weakness before. We have never been so blue light poisoned, 5G, 4G. You know, there's chemicals in everything. I mean, look at guys. You know, I live in Mexico. There's no chemtrails there. We had chemtrails for 2 days, Christmas Day and the day after. That was it. That was our gift. But we've never had any chemtrails. All you have is chemtrails. And now your kids think these are real clouds. But the reality is that you can't complain about this. You've got to just, you know, do know this, that everybody who calls me up and goes, oh, I'm sick because of this. No, they're sick because of this. And they're sick because of this. These are the two things why you're sick. So make up all the excuses you want. Okay. And the reality is people are not in charge of their emotions. A human being is an emotional being. I'm an emotional being. I feel things all the time, but I've made clear choices. I'm not suffering for anybody else. I'm not going to sympathize. Okay, I'm going to have compassion for everyone, but I'm not going to be empathetic. Oh, I feel everything around me. Oh, I'm an empathic. I feel everything. Why would you want to do that? That's the latest greatest, isn't it? Isn't that what everybody says? I'm an empathic. I feel everything. Yeah, must be fun to live with you. The reality is this, is you've got to make clear choices. You've got to have filters. Nobody has any filters. Kids don't have a chance. I want you to know, and you can believe this or not. Okay? How old's your daughter? 9. Well, when she is 20 to 25 years old, only 2% of the population will actually be slender. Everyone else will be obese and they'll be just rolling around. They won't be able to walk. They won't be able to do anything. They'll be so full of inflammation. And understand something. People are not overweight. They're overwaste. Do you understand that? Do you understand that the only reason why you're overweight is because you got to make fat and retain water? There's the only two things. That's how it starts off. So if you're overweight, you have to create fat. If you didn't create fat, you'd have cancer already, or you'd have a stroke or a heart attack. Got that? So the reality is you got to create fat to store what? Your infection. But how many people know that issues in your tissues cause issues in your body, and that there's not one physical thing going on in your body, one condition that you have that you didn't create from your mind? Not one. Not one. Your condition, your disease is created by your belief systems. And you don't even know what your belief systems are. You think it's your personality. You don't understand that 90% of your brain is your subconscious. But guess why? Do you know why you don't understand it? Not because you're stupid, because you've never been taught that. Tell me one person that you know that came out of school when they were done grade 12 years or 13 years, and they knew how to eat properly. They even knew what the human body was about. If you go to my library and you go into the highway of life, I will teach your daughter more about the digestive tract than she'll get the whole high school, till all the way through school. If she wants to learn about the holy grail of the human body, she needs to go watch the video called Holy Crap. And it's in my library. And I'll teach her more in 2.5 hours and then an hour and 20 of the other one and 2.5 of the other one. I'll teach her more about health in those 4 hours than she's going to get in her whole history. because she's going to get absolutely nothing from school. How many people here know that the Rockefellers look after all the book publishing for every school in North America? How many people know that's the Rothschilds in Europe? How many people know that you're not allowed to have full power and full potential? Most of you will never have full potential because you bought into the idea that your beliefs that are in here, that's you. It's not you. It's the church you went to. It's the school you went to. It's the parents you had. It's the stuff that mommy and daddy let you watch. You are the news. Your personality is made up of the news and whatever else you decide to do during the day. Wow, what a life that must be. It's a lie. If you never, ever, 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 ever shared in gossip again, if you never, ever talked about politics again, if you never talked about religion again, and I'm not telling you to stop your religion, whatever your faith is, if it's empowering you, go for it. Because everyone has had different beliefs. You need to go for what makes you feel powerful. It's when you have beliefs that make you feel guilty. How many here, put your hand up, that guilt is a great motivator? It makes life so good. Then why do you do it to yourself and your family? You do it all the time. I will never do it. I will always come from unconditional love with every conversation. There, do you want to know where the heart of the sickness is? You're not you. You're not you. You think you're you. You'll know when you're you because you can be in the present moment knowing it. You'll know when you're you when you feel joy. You'll know when you're you when everybody else is freaking out, crying and screaming, and you're there with and staying centered. So when all of them have headaches and they're throwing up and they're so sick that you can maybe help clean up the mess they made. The world has not changed for me. I did not participate in that C thing, and I never will. If you all want, you can cough and sneeze on me if you want before you go. It's such a crock. Wake up. It's your thoughts and it's what you think and what you drink and eat. Thank you very much. And it's also your bowels, because everybody here has a bowel problem. And you have a bowel problem because you can't let go emotionally, so you can't let go physically. Yeah, I'm really good at what I do. But you can't love another because you can't love yourself. It's contaminated love. I don't have any dysfunctional relationships. Do I have children that I'd like to be closer to, but they have their own belief systems and they're doing things that I did when I was younger that really didn't help me or my family? I have to let that be, don't I? I'm not going to tell people what to do or how to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to walk the talk. So how many corporations and different professions do you think I piss off in one lecture?
All of them?
Yes. Don't care. I've said this many times. I'd rather live one day being me than live another 30, 40 years being someone else. I'm not going to do it. I also know that I'm an eternal spirit. I also know that that which created the universe has never even given me a thought, not one negative thought. I don't buy into that crap either. So when you're all done thinking that there's a gray-haired man, beard, or something up there that's watching every move you make, let me tell you something. This is a life-threatening, fun-filled adventure. You tell me that you can't come down here and get screwed up. For one thing, from 0 to 7, you don't have no filter. You do know that. You're in a trance. Everything that is said, that you hear, everything that happens to you, you take on as your new person, the personality you're going to have for your life. The world's never going to change. Just know that. Only you can change. Just know that. Just know that you're the type of person who likes to help everyone except yourself. Nobody can see you. You do nothing for yourself, but you love everyone and people love you. But you don't help you. Your value is almost 0. That a long time ago, you stopped loving you. You stopped caring for you. How's it feel? Don't talk. You don't have to talk. I don't want to get you involved into it. Doesn't feel good, does it?
No.
You don't like your body. You don't like your life. Sometimes it's just, I just want to go to bed, but I guess what? I can't sleep when I do go to bed. And then I wake up in the morning and I feel the same old crappy way. So unless you want to get serious, it's never going to happen. Okay. You won't let go of a lot of shit that's gone on in your life. You hold on to it. And it's mostly personal stuff that you believe that you failed or you came short with your relationships. Yes or no?
Yeah, that's probably true.
Probably true. No, it is true. Don't say probably. Don't let your subconscious come into this conversation here. So just know this, ever since I was 8 years old, I could read a person and take me 30 seconds to a minute. That's it. And you know everything I said about you is true. And you know that you want a better life, but you're exhausted. And you don't know how to get it. How am I doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, thank you. See, now that I put her subconscious on the sidelines, now I'm doing very good. And it's not because she needs to feed my ego. The reality is whether you want to believe this, once you actually stop judging yourself and everyone else, you will have open access to who they really are and how you can help a person and really love them and care for them. If you don't want to love someone, then leave them alone. Get the hell away from them. And if you don't want to love yourself unconditionally 100%, you're a danger to everyone that you think you love. Because guess what? If you don't fill up your own heart, you're trying to get your family to. All right? So right now, your daughter's being taught that mommy fills her heart 40%, daddy fills 30%, the dog 10%, her friends another 15%. And guess what? So as soon as she starts going out and having relationships, right? She's going to have a broken heart. Does anybody know why heart disease is the #1 killer on this planet? Because the heart never gets cancer, though. It only gets broken. It only gets empty, right? My heart's empty. My heart's broken. My heart hurts. Okay, he broke my heart. She broke my heart. And that's because you never loved yourself. But you weren't taught to love yourself. Your parents didn't love themselves. Think about it. So who here has had children? Okay, you got married, and when you got married, you didn't love yourself. You were looking for someone else to love you. Yes or no? That's true. You didn't know how to feed yourself, so you didn't know how to feed your children when they were born either. Then you had to get your game on. But then you didn't, because you started feeding your children like everybody else feeds them. We don't need to worry. It's all coming down. And there's lots of other things. You know, I love America, but we're also the biggest terrorists in the world. We're bullies. We go around starting wars, and we pretend we're helping people. You know, the Federal Reserve, we're the only country in the world. The Federal Reserve is owned by the Rothschilds, Rockefellers. You guys, you know, it's private, but you think you own it. No, you don't. You think money's real. It's not real. It's not real. It's only real because they've taught you that it's hard to make. Everybody here has the poverty bug. I don't. Money's so easy to make. Find your passion, find your purpose. Don't go get a job. Don't go get a job. Don't go get a job. We're all taught that we have to go get a job. We have to work hard. And, you know, unless at the end of the day, we're totally exhausted and burnt out. So we have nothing to give for our family, then we didn't do our job. Right? I know I'm right. But, well, it's difficult. Even if you came and took a whole life coach course, or you came and took a Braveheart healing circle, you'd have to really, if the best gift you'll ever give your family, if you really go hardcore. Anybody who takes a Braveheart healing circle or does a whole life coach certification, if you want to be professional, or if you really want to go deeper, and you were to do that 3 times, you would find your true authentic self. That's the truth. Everything is repetition, right? Are you good at anything? You didn't get good at it unless you repeated it. So if you're not willing to repeat something that teaches you how to unconditionally love yourself and take care of yourself, how can you do it for another? Would you say you know how to eat? Would you say that you know how to exercise properly? That you have energy at the end of the day? Would you say that during your spare time, you don't have bad habits? What is it you snack on? What do you do in your spare time? Take a look at your life. If you're not going to want to make changes in your personality, you're not going to make changes in your reality. Anybody have questions so far? No questions? You all came for a reason. Let's start with you. Why did you come today? You know why you came.
Timing, it was good timing for me.
Yeah, but why'd you come though? What do you want out of this? What would you like out of this? You know, I'm going to tell you something. If you don't know what you want out of life, you'll never get it. If you can't be specific about what you want, you're never going to have it. You know, whether you believe this or not, you deserve everything. And there's enough of everything that everybody could have everything. But you've been taught that you don't deserve everything. You've been taught that your value is only this far. But that's how they got the mask on her face or the diaper. They took it off her butt and put it on her face. That's all they did. So understand something right now. It's all value. People with low value, get them to do anything, can't you? Because you're not worth much. And understand something. The government does not work for us, do they? No, they work for these psychos. They always have. They're only going to give you enough because they want to keep you working hard. They want to keep you enslaved. It's always been that way. My God, you do know that 90% of all the food in your house never existed 90 years ago. And 90% of all the diseases that you're suffering from never existed 90 years ago. There could be a clue here, guys. Let me think. Where is it? God, I know he's doing it. There's a clue. There's a clue here. Her generation are not going to make it past 60. Most will be going by 40. In between 40 and 60, her generation will be gone. They're going to have to then pull back because there won't be enough people left on the planet. You do know that scientifically, this is the 6th extinction we're heading for. Number 6. That's science, guys. That's real science. And do know extinction doesn't mean that you're totally gone. Extinction means 80% of the population is gone. Okay? And this time, it's too easy for them. Because guess what? I would just love to go shopping with all of you, and you have to shop the way you usually do. And then we'll go in and we'll take out every infecting, inflammatory food out of your cart, and there won't hardly be anything in there. And then you wonder why you're in a mess. Why'd you come today?
To open your heart.
To open your heart. Well, then we'd have to do a heart release.
We are actually.
I'm
Not
gonna,
today, but tomorrow you and I are.
I'm going to do a heart release on you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wait till you feel that.
I just haven't been thinking about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I start here and I open up your solar plexus.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody has a bit of a hiatal hernia now. Nobody doesn't. They'll find all kinds of around the stomach valve. There'll be crystallization. The stomach valve will be popped up in the average person about 1/10 of an inch higher than it needs to be. And that's why the acid. That's why the pressure all the time. Okay. And that's mainly because what we do is we don't realize it, but everybody here is a grunter, right? Everybody here is a grunter. Why are you grunting? Trying to get that little turd out, right? Because it's so dried up and it's so glicky sticky because of the glicky sticky dried up food, chemical food you eat. And because you can't let go emotionally. Why? Because we've all been taught. What is the biggest motivator in a family? Love or guilt?
Probably guilt.
Probably. Just pick one. In your family, guilt. Okay. And that's in everybody else's family too, and you don't even know it. Do you know why? Because you've all been taught to use other people to fill up your heart every day. What if you were to fill up your own heart with love? You want to know something? Does anybody know that heart disease is the main killer, right? And does everybody know that we can get 10 people eating the same crappy inflammatory diet? The same people. Not the same people, different people, same diet. Exactly. And guess what? Some are going to have what? There's 3 different types of heart problems. And not everybody's going to have a heart problem. That person that actually does love and care for themselves can eat a crappy diet and they're not going to have a heart problem. Did you know that? This is proven. Okay, so your heart is the emotional recorder of all your love affairs, all of them. If you don't believe me, go home, and almost every one of you, when you lay down, how many people are right-handed? Well, see, that'd be lots of fun. It's almost everybody. So when you go lay, so when you go to lay down, you're going to find out that on the left-hand side, which is not the dominant hand, right? This should be a little bigger on the side, correct? If this is your dominant. If you want, we can show someone here today. I can see it standing here. You take things emotionally and you bury them. And you can see it. Are you right-handed?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You got a fist right around your heart. Somebody broke your heart a few times. Okay. You can see it right through his shirt. Now we know he's got a heart problem. So if I went in here, I could show you that I could take a look when he gets up, but I could take and do a heart release on him, and his left side would be equal or a little bit smaller than his right when I'm done. And that's all because of the scar tissue that he put around his heart. He's got a fist around his heart, and he's got calcium built around his heart. Every time that you are hurt emotionally in love, okay, you calcify around your heart, and inflammation causes scar tissue formation. I'm right. How many people know that just over 90% of the people that get rushed to the hospital don't have a heart attack? They have a love attack. They get there and they go, there's nothing wrong with you. Yeah, no, over 90%. And if you were to ask those people that get rushed there, they don't feel like they're being loved. I'm working so hard and I'm not being loved. I'm not being appreciated. Let me tell you something. The greatest sickness on this planet is that people believe that their family and their lovers are responsible for making them feel loved every day. You know as well as I do how many people have had many relationships or just some. I don't care who you are, how long you've been married. I guarantee you the honeymoon is over within 1 year to a year and a half. You can't keep filling each other's heart. It's exhausting. If you don't want to learn how to love yourself, then you'll have a dysfunctional relationship the rest of your life. Now, you're not going to like this, but I can count on my hand the couples that I've met in my lifetime that love themselves first and foremost, and then shine that love on each other. The rest were all dysfunctional marriages and relationships. Don't tell me that you're not sad in your relationship. Don't tell me that he can give you what you want or she can give you what you want. It's possible. We're spirit beings. We're time travelers. We're infinite. Just because when we come into this body here, you know what? Don't separate yourself from unconditional love. In this universe, it's one law, one love, unconditional love. And that's it. I don't care if you love me or you don't love me. I'm going to love you anyway. I'm going to shine that light on you because I have total love and respect for everyone. People aren't bad, but they have bad beliefs. Yes or no? Do people have bad beliefs? Yeah, you've got bad beliefs. They're about yourself, though. Yeah, and those bad beliefs are going to hurt you bad. And you know what? We're self-punishing, okay? We used to feel punished by the people who so-called loved us. And they don't even have to be around anymore. But we still suffer, don't we? All right? We suffer because we feel like we're guilty because we didn't live up to their values. And they never lived up to the values of the people before them. That's why I don't care if you don't like me. My job is not for you to like me. My job is for you to fall in love with yourself, no matter what course you take with us. How easy would you be to hurt? If you loved yourself, first and foremost, would you watch the news? You think you're going to lower your vibration that low? to go in and watch the news, where they take the worst events and blow them up and try to stick them into a half an hour and 40 minutes, and then you actually believe it's real. And none of the shit comes true. I mean, is nobody going to wake up in this world? No, they're not. Never have, never will. It's not going to happen. The only way this would happen is if I became one of the psycho rich and I had unlimited printing money and I could just go and buy up all the TV stations, radio stations. And only if I talked about unconditional love all day long and there was no more news except unconditional love and stories of bravery and love, then we could change the world in about 100 years. But seeing that's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. So just get over it. So you can either love yourself today and care for yourself today and make better choices. But none of your families eat right. None of them. None of them eat right. And you're going to go, that's not true. And okay, fine. Then let's go toe to toe right now. And you don't lie. And you tell me what they eat. None of them eat right. So would you like to be a 911 emergency all the time? Because that's what you do, right? We disrespect ourselves, don't we? Until we don't think about our health until we can't take the pain anymore, right? Or unless there's pus coming from the vagina, the nose, the ears, the eyes, or something's bleeding. Okay, that's the only time we ever think about our health. So how much love do you think you would have for yourself if you, and how many, and look at the stuff you eat. Look at the packaged food you eat. Look at the garbage you eat. Look at the beer you drink. Look at the alcohol you take in. How many people here drink wine? But yeah, I guarantee it's not organic. So don't lie. And the reality is this wine has 138 known cancer-causing chemicals in it. So that's really loving yourself. And then we also know that wine's fermented, but people are fermenting and rotting already. Oh, wait, but it's got antioxidants in it. Yeah. Are you going to use that sales pitch for the rest of your life? What a bunch of bullshit. Yeah, but one glass of wine. We both need a glass of wine at night. You know, I'm sure you do. You probably need 2 glasses of wine to be with each other. It's true. It's true. And then what you see is a few years later, you both buy a dog. That's good too. Okay, there you go. And then you call it love. The reality is that we live in this unconscious, subconscious of ours. So believe it or not, if you were to master your subconscious, which you're not going to, because you'd actually have to spend some money. You'd actually have to come and take my course. And if you took it one time, you would, by the second or third day, you'd have a breakthrough. You'd have a breakthrough. And then you'd say, I never want to leave this course. And I'd say, well, you've got to. And when you go home, please don't talk about this course, because your family will try to pull you right back down. Why? Because if you start loving yourself, they're going to think that you don't love them. And the subconscious is fearful, and it's very ignorantly arrogant. Yeah. It's like the old story. Hey, honey, I was thinking maybe I'd start losing some weight. Oh, that's great, honey. Yeah, you look a little chubby. Okay. Well, he'd probably say that, right? He wants her to look a little sexier. So then guess what? She starts losing weight, but now she's getting into it and she loves how she feels. So now she's actually exercising and eating properly. And now she's saying no to all the other things that he likes to eat still. I guarantee you within 3 to 4 weeks, he's going, hey, remember that double cheese pizza we like? You've done so well. I'd like to celebrate with you. Tell me that's not what we do. Tell me that soon as somebody starts to find themselves, you don't get scared, because if they find themselves, they won't want me anymore. That's what relationships are, aren't they? We push each other to go, you got this, but don't get too powerful. Don't fall in love with yourself too much. Don't become too confident. Yeah, I got to make sure you're still a victim and a little bit weak so I can be your hero. Tell me I'm wrong. I have a great life. I figured it out. Isn't it kind of funny? Do you know I was on Marketplace, one of Canada's, they expose fraudulent things like me. They said I murdered people, ripped them off for money. Oh yeah, well you can dig anything out and get people to come and do stuff. You know, the reality is, you know, let's see it. It's always going to happen. Do you think that I've said things that are a little bit irritating people right now? No. You know, no. Well, CBC owns Marketplace, and they use taxpayers' money to come after me. It's the third time. Yeah. So then people after that said, you're the devil. You should go to jail. Somebody should throw you in a Mexican jail. Well, do I kind of let people know where I'm at? They know, everybody knows I'm in Texas right now giving this lecture. Here I am. Come get me. See? It's all just crap. It's all about money. It's all about people being threatened. Wouldn't want anybody to love themselves. Wouldn't want anybody to care for themselves, would we? Wouldn't want anybody to know how to eat properly. But that's never going to happen because they use all these addictive chemicals. Everybody here is addicted to something. So don't lie. I'm addicted to feeling great. I'm addicted to telling the truth and pissing people off. Don't care. Because I don't need your love. I don't want you to hate me either or dislike me. But the reality is, once you love yourself, you don't have to lie to someone. You've never lied for love, have you? You do it every day. We all lie for love until we learn how to love ourselves. Because a human being cannot live without love. Emotional energy and motion. How many of you know that the brain has no intelligence? You didn't know that, did you? You think the brain's intelligent. It's not. It's your spirit and your good bacteria. Oh, wait a minute. The bacteria that they want you to gel with. Right? Oh, I think that. I mean, how many, I just want to check the intelligence in this room. How many people through COVID, which is a virus, actually pumped bacterial soap into their hand every time they went to a store? I'd say 90%, 95, 99% of everybody in this room. And guess what? What's a bacteria got to do with a virus? Then you didn't know what a virus is. You didn't look it up. If you looked it up, what's a virus in a dictionary? Toxin. Virus is Greek. They use all Greek words. Why? Why does the medical system only use Greek words? Help me out here. Why do they use Greek words? Why don't they just use what it is? Because you're too stupid. You couldn't understand this. Only we can understand this. That's what the white coat is and all that heavy duty training. What do they do? What does the medical system do mainly in their training? Study live people or dead people? Oh yeah, so we're gonna go work from dead backwards. You do know the whole medical system is based on petroleum. You do know that in 1980 we stopped putting everything in glass, which is non-toxic, and it's now in plastic. How many people here buy smart water and all the more expensive waters? You do know it's the same as all the cheap water. You do know that there's 128 chemicals in every bottle of water. You do know that the plastic is causing hormonal problems for children, men, and women. You do know that's why they did the plastic. You do know that plastic doesn't break down. You do know that the plastic chemical breaks down in the water. So this is a bad place. This is planet Earth, a fun-filled, life-threatening game where there's probably maybe 100,000, maybe 150,000 psychos that have been granted the financial keys to this planet, and it's never going to change. I want you to think about this. About 150,000 financial psychos were given the financial keys to this planet since the beginning, and that's the rule here. Do you get this? It's not changing. God's not coming to save us. There's no savior coming. No Trump pet either. There's no one coming. Don't be so foolish. Find your passion. Find your purpose. Get as close to nature as possible. Believe in your healing and have faith that there's something so powerful out there. We don't understand it. that has our back when we have our back. Do you know what people say to me all the time? So they come to me. They've got something like an autoimmune disease, something like threatening. And I'll go, so we'll do this, this, and this. And they'll say, I mean, it's in God's hands. That person, does not make it. You do know that, right? They don't make it. There's supposed to be a deal here. Take your spirit, go down, get this physical body, and take massive personal action and treat it right. Oh, not with treats, though. Right? I hope your daughter's bad for the rest of her life, because every time she's good, you give her a treat, and the treat's usually poison. Isn't that nice? Honey, if you're really good, mommy will poison you today. Hey, honey, guess what? You're such a good wife. Let's go out and poison ourselves. That's all we do. We're morons. Human beings are not smart. They're programmed into being dumb, but they're not stupid either, because you can program yourself to be very intelligent, like a genius even. But you'd have to have genius thoughts. You do know that if you are anything like the majority of the population, that you haven't got a chance. You do know that when they say to you, well, statistically, a guy your age with this condition only has this long to live. Well, guess what? They're absolutely right if you don't change your personality. I don't care if you've got 10 days to live because you got some illness. If you actually went home and you believed in the power of God and the healing of your body, and you actually got rid of all toxic foods, and you had a smile on your face, and you said, I'm bigger than this, and you connected to your breath, you know what would happen? You just change the game, because you change your personality. You're going to change your reality. That's it right there.
You believe we can alter our DNA?
You're doing it right now. Do you actually believe that DNA crap? That's not true. That was already figured out 50 years ago. There's no such thing. You are not born with a certain genetic system and then you're stuck with it. That's not true. You do know. Did you ever hear of the Genome Project? Did you ever hear of the Genome? Did you? What is it? I don't know. And I'm not trying to, there's nothing wrong with you. Just even hearing about it, you're lucky. The Genome Project cost taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars. This is where the medical system, we're going to show them. We're going to go in there and spend all of this money, okay? And then we're going to prove that all illnesses are genetic. And then guess what? We win. But the main one they targeted was cancer. Do you know why? Because the medical system will never give up cancer. Why? It's the biggest moneymaker in the world. So, cure for cancer. I did a one-a-day yesterday. They can't cure cancer. It's a corporation. Corporation. What's the first part of corporation? Corpse. And that's what they want is corpse. But they want it slowly. Why? Because they get all the money back.
Just like the jab.
And you may not believe this, and it doesn't really matter. How many people have watched Monsters Inc., that cartoon? Well, that's the world you live in. That's the world you live in. It's all about creating suffering. There's an entity on this planet that's allowed to be here that lives off of disease, sickness, illness, suffering, struggling. It lives off of it. Well, guys, really? We can't figure out how to get the poison out of the water? We can't figure out how to stop GMOs? We can't stop glyphosate? Right? We can't stop anything. We can't stop blue light. You do know 10,000 teenagers are being diagnosed with cataracts now, daily, from blue light poisoning. And the only thing that will protect them is these. And you go, oh, well, there you go. He has to sell something. No, I'm right. These are developed by Tesla. They're called fluorine glasses. I can be in front of blue light all day long. And guess what? It turns blue light and even 5G, if it hits my eyes, into non-toxic frequency. You do know that your eyes don't see anything. They only pick up light and frequency. Everything, all the light and frequency that we coming through our eyes is actually made into images in our head. Your eyes don't see. So what happens is we get cataracts because your eyes are being, your brain is being destroyed. Blue light after 15 minutes is actually burning your brain. It's burning your brain, inflaming your brain, creating scar tissue and calcification. And that's why eye problems are so bad right now. Burning eyes, things of that nature. We're the only ones to actually make bright eyes, which is fulvic eye drops. Even that will bring down the burning. But if you got fulvic eye drops and you were to wear these whenever you're on a computer, use these as sunglasses when you're on a phone, when you're doing anything, going to a movie, okay, in the office has LED. These are all LED. You see that? Look at that. All these curlies, okay, they are right now causing brain burn. They are right now. You can shut that lights right off if you don't mind, please. Just shut them right off. Why do we even have them? Right now, watch, feel it. Feel it? Anybody feel that right away? What'd you feel? Peace, right? So the blue light, see, I'm not lying. The blue light was going through your eyes and it was disturbing your brain.
If you drive,
What?
when you wear them and you're driving at night, like
Yeah.
you'll feel the
Yes,
difference.
wonderful.
Oh no, you can drive all night. You don't get tired. Your eyes don't burn. The LED coming off the cars is enough to actually cause headaches and migraines.
Yeah.
Understand, you can't have 12 o'clock noon light all day long. That's why you can't sleep at night. Okay, you got to understand something, guys. Okay. The psycho rich signed a pact with an evil entity. Come on, we all know about Hollywood. We know about politics. It's all, why do you get involved in this stuff? There's nothing wrong with going and watching a nice movie, right? But understand something. It's all there to program you, right? You actually think your vote counts. Your vote doesn't count unless you're in the conscious moment and making a proper decision choice, high vibrational for yourself every moment. And the only way you're going to do that is if you connect to your breath and do lion heart breathing and have a slight smile. The worst thing in your life could happen right now. And if you kept a slight smile on your face and you connected to your breath and you put your shoulders back and your chin up, you could not get depressed or angry. You're all out of control emotionally. You're out of control. And when you don't get what you want, it pisses you off. And believe it or not, human beings cannot live without love. You will never be healthy. You will never be wealthy. Or you will just be wealthy and not healthy. You can't have both unless you love yourself. That's the key. You do know that unconditional love, we would own our life. We would own our world. And when you have unconditional love for yourself, guess what? Now you're not mistreating your family. When you get in a tantrum in a mood, don't tell me you look after your family. Don't tell me you respect yourself or your family. It doesn't happen. You know what? If we didn't get pissed off and we always sat down and went, so why did you break that? Why did you lie? Why did you feel you needed to lie to me? Is it because of fear? Or you thought you would let me down or I would judge you? Yes. Well, I'm never going to judge you again. You don't have to lie. Just know we all make mistakes. And we're going to keep making mistakes because guess what? We need to repeat things until we become perfect at them. And then once we become perfect at something, we stop it, don't we? We go find something else we can screw up for a while. So you better understand that. You better understand it. Why did you get it right the first time? Well, because it's going to take 10,000 times and then I will get it right. And then I'll go find something else to screw up. Look, who does this? Do you know what kind of energy and money it took to open up the World Healing and Training Center in Ixtapa? That was a 20-room clinic. I ran it for a year and a half. Why did I shut it? Because I'm bankrupt? Well, I wasn't making money? No. Because I wanted to do this world tour. Because I'm releasing an app. The first one of its kind. The first one of its kind. This has taken me years. This is the platform. It's called Touched. We usually don't say the name because we just want to bring it out. And it actually, guess what it does? It doesn't track you for me. It tracks you and says, wow, this is what you want? Let's take you there and give it to you. Let's teach you this. That's what should be tracking people, to give them something, not track them to take away something. We should be having we should be able to use programs so the person can help to track themselves to find what they want, to get more joy, more happiness, not track people to take their money from them, their life from them. So there's good and bad in everything, isn't there? But the reality is, until you clean out the cupboards and the fridge, until you get rid of the toxins out of the house, what you think is normal is abnormal now. Why don't you go take a look at the picture of a beach in the 1970s? I don't think you'll find one person overweight. How many people know that 40 years ago, being 10 pounds overweight was obese? You get that? Do you know what it is now? 40. 40. You're not big, bold, and beautiful. You're diabetic with high blood pressure and very stinky bowel movements. And you're not going to live long. You're going to be on insulin. You're going to be on painkillers. You're not big, bold, and beautiful. It's bold to be big and overweight. Well, you're not. You're over what? Waste. Because you've been eating because you were physically, emotionally, or sexually, or all of them, abused when you were younger. And now you're eating yourself to death. Yes or no? So the reality is this. That's why I'm closing the World Healing and Training. So I'm going to go on the road for 9 months. I'm going to do 12 complete programs where we do like whole life coach. It's a 9-day. That's intense. You get to really find out who you are, and you don't hate one bit of it, do you? No, you don't. You find out that you are a beautiful, God-loving spirit. That's all you find out. And you find out that everybody's been programmed to make you feel dirty and that you don't have value and that you're stupid. How's that? Does that work for you? Doesn't work for me. And I don't believe it. And that's why I don't care what anybody thinks of me. Because you can't. Because people don't think very well of themselves. If you didn't think very well of yourself and you judge yourself, what are you going to do to me? Especially when I start spouting off like this. Huh? It's a good thing I love myself because I could be here alone any minute. Because people will run away. They'll run away from you. And that might be a good thing too. Seriously, the reality is you're never going to have better until you choose it for yourself. And when you have better, you will have family members not wanting you to visit. You will have friends that will no longer be your friends because what if your friends are toxic, do toxic choices? Well, that means you do too, don't you? Our potential is totally unlimited. There is no bottom to it. There's no roof to it. Think about it. I spent over $200,000 extra doing this health and healing center that I didn't know I'd have to spend, but I'm closing it. I could just say, no, I'll just keep doing what I want to do. No, life's the adventure. I'm going all over the world and we're going to teach these courses, the whole life coach, 9 days. And then we have the Wolfe non-surgical, that's 12 days. And I have what's called a Braveheart Circle. That's for people who want to just come in a circle and they want to get non-surgical and we're going to show you that. I don't care if you had a problem for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. In one treatment, we're going to show you we can turn it around. I didn't say turn it completely around in one treatment. In one treatment, we're going to show you it can be turned around. In most cases, we can turn around problems. Minimums, average 60% to 90. Am I right? Am I lying? Yeah. A knee problem with a cane, most of the time, the cane can go over in the corner after we're done. Shoulder problem, neck problem, doesn't matter. It's all about scar tissue and crystallization and displaced calcium. And you know what? I'm going to tell you something. You can become a certified whole life coach, and people don't like this, especially naturopathic doctors, medical doctors, chiropractors. A lot of them don't like it. They don't like to hear this. But by the time next week comes, there's a main, it's called Higher University of Learning. And this is one of the most powerful groups in the world. And my courses are going to be certified worldwide. And they won't like it because you can come and take a course of mine, emotional nutritional course, to be a nutritional consultant and a whole life coach consultant emotionally. And you'll come for 9 days and you'll actually be certified. So you can, and then you can say, I'm full of it. Well, no, how much did you learn in school? Like really, what did you learn? And you know, you can go to school for years or you can come to us for 9 days and then you can put massive personal action and keep training. You know, can you bring me the 2 books I brought? They're in the back there. I'll show you them. I want you to know that our stuff is better, just as good or better than anything out there in any university or college. So, you know, see how I put myself up? Come and shoot me. You know, the reality is you've got to put your money where your mouth is and you have to mean it. And then the Wolfe non-surgical, that's a 12-day course. And you don't have to ask me, but you can ask any of my therapists. So just know that I've got nurses in every course almost, chiropractors, naturopaths, osteopaths, medical doctors. And usually they'll say it with every one of our courses. By the 3rd day, I've learned more about health than I've learned in my whole life. Is that true, Diane? Did we teach you that?
I listen to you all the time.
Yeah. Okay. So you have to, it's called inner power. It's called inner standing, that there's a genius in there and that you are allowed to have what you want. But you do know that your family will come up against you because everybody just wants to do what everybody else is doing so that you'll be accepted and approved of. See, I already told you I really don't care if you approve of me. It's my life. Don't care. Your opinion doesn't even matter. Okay? It's my life. And if have I said anything to tear you down or make myself look better than you? No. All I've said is that if you unconditionally loved and cared for yourself, you wouldn't be in a mess. And understand this. How many people do you know? And tell me I'm wrong. I just want you to tell me I'm wrong about this stuff when I'm talking, please. Just do that for me. There'll be some of you that'll be great fathers, but you don't know how to make money. And you don't know how to love yourself. There'll be some of you that are great mothers, right? But you don't know how to love yourself and you're sick all the time, exhausted. The reality is when you totally love, honor, and care for yourself, you can have it all. Because you're never going to have enough energy. You're not, it's just, it's too easy. It's too easy. You know, people go, oh my God, I can't even get a small little clinic open. You opened up one of the largest clinics, ran for 1.5 years. Now you're shutting it down to go do a world tour and then open up another clinic somewhere. And I don't know where yet, but I'm trying to decide. But when I do open this clinic up, you know, people used to come to this clinic here and they could come for just for treatments, come for whatever they want. And that's the way it's always been. This next clinic, if you're an alcoholic, you can't come. If you're a smoker, you can't come. If you're on more than 2 prescription drugs, you can't come. Why? Well, because guess what? Addicted people come, they do the therapy, they get great results. And then when they leave, the results leave because they didn't get rid of their addictions.
How do you get rid of the addiction?
Well, what you need to do is, and I'm going to say it, I know it this way, but don't come my way, go another way. Learn how to love and care for yourself. Do you think you would have an addiction if you didn't love and care for yourself? If you loved and cared for yourself, would you have an addiction? No, because people that are addicts are trying to be something else to get something else. Let me tell you something. When I was younger, I didn't drop a hit of acid because I loved myself. I didn't smoke pot in high school all the time because I loved myself. I didn't go and drink to the point of throwing up or having a migraine the next day because I had alcohol poison because I love myself. You know damn well that you went out and until I have a few drinks, I don't want to dance. I don't want to talk. I have to drink myself there. Yes or no? Well, guess what? I don't need any of it. I can go to any party and go and dance, have fun, because I like me. Do you love me? Would you love you? Do you love you? Do you? I can't be alone with myself. I need the TV on all the time. I need the radio on. I need to be keeping myself busy all the time because I can't stand being with myself. I need to have lots of kids, and then you're exhausted. Let me tell you something. They're always going to win because they're always going to create chaos and havoc out there, yes? And they're going to create it inside of you as well.
Who teaches the addicts to love themselves? I ask this because I see, like, I live in Odessa, Texas, and you're on an oil field business, and it's just meth.
And I understand that, but guess what?
Who teaches the addicts to love themselves?
Well, I'm going to tell you that we do. But the reality is you go ahead and send them for treatment. Never works, does it?
It never works.
No.
Very rarely.
No, because guess what? They need to go hardcore. You go and have any of these come 3 times to a whole life coach or 3 times to a Braveheart circle. It's over. Because guess what? They finally realize, I am enough. I didn't realize I was supposed to love myself. They don't realize that their parents couldn't understand them because their parents couldn't understand themselves. Did your parents understand you? Nobody's parents understands their child, especially when you turn 11, 12, 13. You know why? Because when we were born and they were holding us with unconditional love. Yes? We could poop on them, spit on them, keep them up all night. As soon as we started to walk and talk and act like them, then it was conditional love. Yes or no? And then the parents don't even know that you're the little Yoda and you're acting like mommy and daddy. So when you're doing a tantrum, just know that mommy or daddy has that same tantrum. When you eat a certain way or you talk a certain way, it's mommy or daddy that talk that way. So then mommy and daddy go, oh my God, did you see that? Yeah, I talk like that. I need to change. Let's sit down with our beautiful little child here. Please don't talk like that anymore. You got that from me and that's wrong. I shouldn't have done that. Do you think we do that? No, you know why you have a child? Because guess what? Because he or she doesn't fill your heart anymore because they have to get to work. So now I got to have a child to fill my heart up. That's the wrong way to have a child. We have what's called the pain-free pregnancy treatment and training. It's 10 days. Any couple takes this, they get it. They get it, that they need to love themselves first and foremost and fill up their heart and shine that light on each other. So when that child comes, it doesn't get terrorized. Let me tell you something. Show me a marriage and I'll show you something dysfunctional that'll ruin a child. You can't go in and have children with not totally loving yourself, which nobody does. But that's the only way we're going to win this world back. If you totally love yourself, are you going to go to the bar? Are you going to get pissed off at somebody in your house and turn your back on them? Are you going to punch them in the face? Are you going to ignore them? Are you going to play love ransom? Are you going to yell at them? You're not going to do any of this stuff. You're going to understand that we've all been programmed to hurt so that we can hurt each other, so that they can hurt us, right? And then call medical care health care. You actually think the government works for you. Who cares? I don't need nothing from them. And I also know how to do this. I just took a group of 40 people to Puerto Rico and got them corporations. None of them pay more than 4% tax anymore legally. It's the same thing that the elites do. So guess what? I got 2 corporations. I don't pay any tax, but I got to give 4% and donate it in my own nonprofit. And I'm doing it. And understand something. Before there was tax, there was roads, there was churches, there was everything. Money's an illusion. Wake up. And guess what? The only reason we can get away with this is because they can't do it without giving it to us. But they can hide it. They can suppress it. They can block it. Understand something. I'm not going to do anything I don't want to do. And I'm not giving my money away to something to be wasted. And it's all wasted. For God's sakes, people are starving in the United States. Schooling system is crushed. Hospitals are falling apart. And this is all about bringing down the vibration of the spirit, nothing else. So don't give me your crap. There's not enough money. There'll never be enough money. There's not enough money in a toxic, lying, scumbag environment. And understand something. The higher you get in the government, the more you have to be a liar and a cheater and a thief. And the more corrupt you have to become. So I don't have nothing to do with it. And I definitely, and this is not to poke on anybody that watches the news, but anybody that watches the news daily, I would never hang around with them. Because guess what they want to talk about? They want to bring me down with their bullshit. And I mean bullshit, not BS, but bullshit. Oh, did you hear? I don't want to hear. Guess why? Because I'm too busy doing this. Here's the perfect day manual. Okay? All right? That's the perfect day manual. Pass it around and tell me if you don't think that I rock this thing past any college or university. And understand something. All of my stuff, see that little girl? She can come and read this book. She can come and take a look at the non-surgical book and how to become the best body worker. And guess what? She can read and understand every word. Do you know why? Because we're not out to humiliate people. All right? That's right. When you go to college and university, they write everything so that you can't understand it. And that's, you know what? I can't take it. I'm going to blow off this planet like Jesus did. I'm serious, eventually. Right now it's fun, but it's going to get annoying after a while. Because guess what? People are not bringing their vibration up. They don't get that they got to love, honor, and respect themselves. And I mean it. She could read this whole book. And I will come up against any body worker, any medical person. And when somebody can't get somebody well, send them to us. We'll work with them emotionally. We'll get rid of their scar tissue, their crystallization and calcification, and we win. How much better do you think you would feel if you were off the hook for everything and you weren't feeling like a sinner or guilty for anything? And how much does guilt make you a better person? How much does it make you be a better lover? How much does making you feel like you're a sinner become something better? Heaven is now. It's not later. It's now. There is no heaven. It's what you make it. Heaven or hell. You decide what you want. I'm not buying into any more stories. Don't give me your stories about what I get if I do something. You know what? I'm going to have it now. I'm going to be happy now. I'm going to be joyful now. And that's all that's going to happen. I'm not going to count on anybody else. Do you know how blessed my family is? That they're off the hook? And that I will be 100% there no matter what they do to me or themselves. And I will not take anything personal. I will observe, but not judge them. You tell me religion doesn't judge. You tell me a system out there that is respecting people, honoring people, protecting people. Why don't you give me one? There isn't one. You need to do it for yourself. Pass this around and tell me we didn't do our homework. We make the best therapists, the best practitioners. I know we do. Because guess what? Do you know how we do it? We unlock what's inside of them. We don't give them anything. We give them strategies, but we go in and unlock. We unlock the genius. Everybody has genius. This whole white coat thing, seriously? Are we like out of our skull? There's nothing pure about it. Any questions? What's the name of the book? Well, I have what's called the Perfect Day Practitioner's Guide. And that one is about 400 pages. That's that one there. And then I have another one that's called the Perfect Day Patient's Guide. When you get a consultation from us, we give you a 360-page manual, okay, that anybody can read, and it has all the strategies to assess and diagnose yourself. and what to do if that happens. And it tells you the issues in your tissues, what the emotional ingredient in here caused the physical problem. We teach you about vaginal infusion. How many women here know what a vaginal infusion is? Well, that's only because you must have seen my stuff. And understand something. If a woman did a vaginal infusion every day, that's the fastest way to heal her whole body. That's the fastest way to get nutrition in. Or the ultimate coffee enema, not just a coffee enema. Or how about advanced water fasting? Not water fasting because it hurts and it's dangerous today because you unleash too many toxins and people can't get rid of them. And we're not getting rid of organic toxins anymore, are we? Remember something, when everything was organic and we were just all so nuts. But the word organic did not exist 75 years ago. The word pure. There's no such thing as organic. It's pure or it's toxic. And understand something. There is no organic anymore. Even the places that have organic farms aren't organic. Didn't you notice the clouds today? Oh, it's not clouds. I mean, that's the one thing I love coming to Texas, but I just don't like this. I mean, all your children are going to think the chemtrails are clouds now. And then the moronic beliefs of the parents, the kids are going to be raised thinking that chemtrail clouds are clouds. And because the parents are so toxic. The parents are so toxic.
I don't know what a chemtrail is, to be honest. I've heard the term, but I don't know actually what it is.
Good. Mind your own business. You don't want to.
Okay.
You don't want to. You don't need to, because it doesn't matter how many of us know it. They're going to continually get away with this as long as the majority of the population does not love or care for itself. You do know that, right? Yes, there is this thing we call God. It created the whole universe. Do you know how big the universe is? Do you have any clue? Do you have any clue? There are trillions of different species throughout the universe, and I know that. And there are trillions of different planets. And, all we do is think about this little one right here. There are so many different dimensions. This is so magical and mystical. Why do you think you're an eternal spirit? Because you're on an eternal journey. And maybe if you would stop poisoning yourself, you might bring your vibration up and get on to the next level of this PlayStation game. Because that's all it is. It's a PlayStation game. So, as long as you want to stay toxic, would your vibration come up? Would you get to go to the next level? What do you think? You can't feed yourself right. Why would you go to the next level? You can't even feed yourself right, less love yourself. I'll tell you right now, I really, really swear to God, I feel for every parent. Every parent. Because I'll tell you, these psychos have their game on so well, For God's sakes, guys, what's in a corner store? More cancer causing, teeth rotting, brain rotting, poisons. That's all it's in a corner store, and they're on every corner. Every corner. Every fast food place is GMO, glyphosate, dairy, which is totally inflammatory for everyone, and loaded with sugar. Oh, you kids have been so great. Let's go into McDonald's and poison the crap out of you. I'm sorry, but the reality is that adults are adulterated and they're poisoning their children, and their children will poison their children. And why don't you just do a little bit of work and find out something? It'll be really fun. 90% of all the diseases weren't here in 1940. They're all new. 90% of all the food was not here in 1940. And I just want you to know most of you aren't going to be able to change. You're not going to have the love for yourself. You're going to go home and your addicted family is not going to give up their addictions. You're all drug addicts. Maybe you're not on cocaine, but you're on things that are just as bad. And it's legal and it's allowed in your food and your water and all your food and drinking. You can tell I'm aging, but I act and look younger than I did 20 years ago. And I have perfect eyesight. And 15 years ago, I wore prescription glasses. And I had perfect eyesight. Isn't that a little bit backwards? Is that a little bit backwards? Yes. I decided that, my father was a born again Christian pastor and he kept saying that we could have anything we wanted, but I never saw him get a damn thing. And I decided I'm going for it. And you do know I don't care what you think about me. I'm going to do it my way because it's my life and I'm going to have a great one. Right? A year ago, I had to go get insurance because we're so big. But I understand something. I never had medical. Do you know who gets medical? People that know they're going to get sick and not be able to afford it. Really, isn't that a great thought? Isn't that a great thought? I never had medical, never need it. If I had to go to emergency, I'd pay for whatever it was. And the good thing is that when living in Mexico, if I had gotten into an accident or something, it wouldn't cost me hardly anything anyways. Right? But you go ahead and get on your medical plan because it's so good. All those drugs, we need them, don't we? The reality is that stop being normal. Let's be abnormal, okay? Stop being a statistic, okay? Stop following the rules and don't bend the rules. Don't break the rules. Make your own rules. I only have one rule, and that's one love, one law. One love, one law. That's it. Unconditional love for myself and everyone else. I'm not saying that I don't get angry or I'm human, but I won't allow myself to be pissed off at anything for more than 30 seconds. Does everybody know that when you have negative emotion, if it goes past 3 minutes, you're actually setting yourself up for cancer? You do not, right?
Did not know that.
Yeah. Well, welcome to your world. The world where they're going to try to hide everything from you. Nobody in here is dumb. Everybody is a genius. They just hide that crap from us. The human body is meant to be in fight, fright, and flight for no more than 3 minutes. Do you know why 3 minutes? Because after 3 minutes, you're not running still. The tiger is either eating you or you're up that tree and he can't get you. And that's the truth. We have 3 minutes of having trauma in our life. Now, most of you live in trauma because you actually allow your family to talk about the BS they see on the news. Wars are made up, You just got psycho leaders that are willing to sacrifice their own people for the good of the psycho rich. Let's be perfectly clear. I'm going to say something which could get me into a lot of trouble, but I'm going to say it because I can't take it. I want to thank all the military so they get to board the plane first. Darrell, calm down. Do we have such little value that we will join the armed forces to go over to a country to kill people we don't even know?
For no reason.
Are you like out of your skull? I'm going to say what I want and be what I want because I can't live with it. And then guess what? These poor guys, girls come over here and they come back here. They get no respect. They don't, except to go on the plane early.
Or 10% of the restaurant.
Or 10% at a restaurant, yeah. But guess what? The government never puts out. No, we're fighting their wars. And just know when you're at war with the ones you love, you stop it. Just learn how to love and care for yourself. And don't pick a fight with yourself or anyone else. Sit down and have resolution. Why aren't we evolving? You know we're not evolving, right? You do know. that in the last 50 years, we've gone back 250 years. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with any of you. That which created the universe loves you beyond love. It's never judged you. They made that up. Are you like out of your skull? I came down here as a little spirit. I'm a little child, pure love. That's why my family loved me so much. I started walking and talking like mommy and daddy, and I get spanked. And then I realized that love is conditional. And then guess what? You have no idea. You know, they used to call me the little devil because I didn't want to give up my spirit. Can you tell that I don't want to give it up now? Is that okay with you? Or should I just be home like you and just eat what they want me to eat, drink what they want me to drink, and think what they want me to think? Are we done? Are we had enough yet? I love my life. And it doesn't matter what happens today. And you can tell me that there's another 20 wars going on. Well, guess what? If you want to participate in them and you want to lose your physical life down here, go ahead, because you get to redo. You get to do a redo. I don't know the game, but I know one thing, that you are eternal spirits. But guess what? If you don't feed your spirit, you don't heal your body. And how do you feed the spirit? Does anybody know? Can you tell me? Self-love. That's how you feed the spirit. And you know what they're after? They're after your spirit. They don't give a crap about anything else. My God, you know, does anybody realize that there was no hip replacements, no knee replacements 40 years ago? Until all the inflammatory toxic food came that actually created the infection, that created the inflammation, the scar tissue formation, the calcification. Does anybody know that I'm willing to give a money back guarantee to a person, even if they're booked for surgery next week, that they're not going? That they're not going. You're not bone on bone. The knee is calcified because you pulled the calcium out of the knee bones or out of the hip bones or out of the spine or anywhere else in the body to try to buffer it down so you didn't get cancer. So now it looks like you're all calcified, but we can get the calcium back into the bones with a product called Merigen. You know that? We can totally restore somebody in their 80s with osteoporosis, restore their bone structure back to when it was like 30 or 40. How's that? And that's when it's crumbling. Do they tell you that? No. And do you know why people have osteoporosis? Because they have an inflamed mind, because they're self-loathing. Just listen. You do know that there is no such thing as depression. There's only anxiety. So when you have so much anxiety and stress, and because you're not eating right, you're not thinking right, what happens? Your brain goes on fire. And guess what? Does everybody understand that the brain is not smart? It's just a computer and a chemist. I'll prove it to you. The only thing that makes your brain work is what? Images, which become thoughts, which become emotions, which become frequencies that trigger chemicals and hormones. Did you get that? There's real science. That's how the whole world operates. It doesn't operate any way else. So you need to get that. So if you smiled right now, you'd be dumping dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. If you don't smile and you have a negative feeling and it stays with you, you dump histamine, adrenaline, and cortisol, and it never stops. You know when you've been really pissed off at someone and it's been days, weeks, and months? You just caused an autoimmune disease in your body. Isn't that cute? You go ahead. Hate me. Dislike me. I don't care. If you think you're going to spill that poison on me, I'm not doing it. I'm going to love me and just try to shine my light on you and wish the best for you. You only hate me because if it wasn't me, you'd be hating someone else because you run a hate program. I run an unconditional love program, so do whatever you want. I'm not going to hate you. So how many different things have I pissed off so far since this lecture? Yeah. You tell me that you want different, but then when I try to give you different, and I try to show you that this is just a game down here, you're an eternal spirit, and you don't have the rules right because somebody's feeding off of you, yes or no? Absolutely is right. So don't care if you believe me. It just means you can't handle it. It just means the story's too big. It doesn't mean it means that you don't have a computer that can process this. So you'll just go to donuts and pop. That's what you'll do. And you'll just go to an average love affair with yourself and everyone else. I don't have average love affairs. There's nobody like me and there's nobody like you. When you decide that you're not going to be everyone else doing everything else, when you decide that you are going to love, honor, and respect yourself, there's the job, isn't it? To love, honor, and respect yourself. Every woman in here looks in the mirror to put her makeup on, but they never look in their eyes. If you were to look in the mirror and do the Braveheart oath 10 times, you wouldn't make it. You won't make it. Because there's nobody in here that totally loves themselves or can do it. And your subconscious is going to say you're silly. You're so silly. You're so selfish. That's what it'll do. So let's make this really clear. Everything is frequency. Do you get that? Everything is vibration. If I choose to be happy, no matter if everybody in my family is unhappy, what will I stay? And if everybody in my family is unhappy, which happens in everybody's family a lot, right? Yeah, it is. Families suck. Okay? The life right out of you. They suck the life right out of you. Yeah. You do know I don't put up with any of that. I don't get angry. I'm just going, hey, I'm not staying with a parasite. What? Well, yeah. That's why people have to do a lot of parasite cleanse, because they vibrate so low. They think so low. They drink so low. They eat so low. You are so low. God, people call me up all the time now. Oh, I have to do a parasite cleanse like 3 or 4 times a year. And I go, well, I don't know. You probably need to stay on it. There's no parasites that can live in this body. It's all about vibration. It's all about light. It's all about frequency. It's all about loving yourself and being joyful. How do you feel when somebody comes in the room and they're just radiant and you could tell they just love themselves and they love their life? You love that, don't you? Until they become your friend. Because if you can't do it, you hate it. Or if they're your family member and they're walking around happy all the time and they're focused on joy and having a beautiful life, it just pisses you off, doesn't it? Don't care. Don't care. Most of you are too tired to ever have a great life now. You've already given up. Just want to get through the day. Just want to get retired, and then you'll die. Unless you have passion, unless you have purpose, unless you have meaning to your day, you're not having a good day. You're just trying to get through it, right? So I'm determined to have the best emotional, nutritional, and physical body work techniques in the world. And as I travel the world, I meet people that are smarter than me. And then I take their stuff and I add it to my stuff. And that's what you do. When people come to take my course, we build their websites for free. When they take my course 3 times, they go on a practitioner's map. When they buy Self-Sonic, like over here, guess what? They go on a practitioner's map. We're going to prove, and we're going to make, there's the AMA and now there's the NWP, New World Practitioners. And we're creating a huge, huge network of people all around the world. And we're coming together. On this platform that I have, it's my own TV station. It's called Docstar. It cannot be regulated by government. It cannot be turned off by anyone. I have my own Facebook, and it's all coming out in 5 weeks. And when it comes out, we will have the most controversial people telling the truth around the world, doing shows every week. I'm only getting started. Every time they attack me, And they don't really attack me. They just don't like what I'm talking about because you just got to follow the money. And also, if you don't hear me what I'm saying when I say, hey, it's great to get chiropractic, but does the chiropractor get rid of the scar tissue and get the calcium back in the bones? He better, because if he doesn't, then you're just adjusting and it's going to pop out. It's great to do acupuncture, but if you don't get rid of the scar tissue, it blocks the energy. If you don't put the calcium back in the bones, it blocks the energy. If you're a massage therapist and you use your hands, you're almost doing no good at all because you can't feel anything. I can feel the smallest bit of scar tissue, cyst, tumor. I can feel everything. We can take somebody that has a fibroid and we can reduce the size of a fibroid by anywhere from 20 to 30% the first treatment. Is that true, Diane?
Or gone.
Yeah, or gone. With that and using what's called cell sonic. Let me just show you here. Okay. There, that's the cell sonic right there. Okay. And let me talk about that. So I'm going to talk about our therapy for a second here. Okay. All right. Let me just move these. Okay. So this here is called a cell sonic. This is the most powerful energy medicine device in the world. This is actually shown, we do what's called thermography. Thermography is more precise and more accurate than any x-ray. You do know that, right? That's science. And we can tell where a person's going to be in 8 to 10 years if they don't change their personality. You do know whatever sickness you have, that's because that's your personality. Those beliefs, those prominent dominant beliefs are creating it. And those are self-hate, dislike beliefs that create this. You do know that people, it's not that I'm not going to pass on, but you'll never hear of me ever having a disease. Because disease means out of ease, means out of alignment. What's out of alignment mean? You don't love yourself. That's right. No matter what goes on, if you just held the love for yourself, do you know what? You would take a situation that could have lasted 3 weeks or 3 months and turn it into 30 seconds. How often when you lose your shit, you get upset, now you've created a mess. And now it takes days, weeks, months for that person to forgive you or to forgive yourself. Yes or no? So why don't you just keep on reacting, attacking yourself and everyone else and see how that works? Oh, but living in the United States, it's pretty difficult when we attack the whole world, don't we? And the whole world wants what we have, right? It's all an illusion. Everybody in every family, in every country wants to be left alone. They want to love themselves and their family. But we got to stick our frickin' nose into everything, don't we? Got to mess it all up. And we're all doing it just for the psycho rich. And it's all for them. Everything's for them. Everything. I'm going to play something on Monday. And it's going to come Monday at noon. Okay? And it's called I'm Going to Rock Your World. And it's going to be a 20-minute speech by David Rockefeller that has been hidden. And then I want you to listen to it. And that's noon Central Time. And then right after that, okay, at 1 o'clock on Monday, I'm going to have them release Medical Mafia. Now you just got the picture of what's going on. 12 and 1. Okay? This is not to scare you. This is to wake you. You deserve, every one of you deserve to feel loved and cared for by yourself first and foremost. And you will always be disrespected by your husband and your wife and your children and everybody else until you learn how to love and care for yourself and respect yourself. And that's it. So you better get it. And you better take that to the bank. And understand something. Does anybody notice that couples are always pinned against each other? Yes or no? Did you ever notice that they fight about the same things all the time? Okay. All right. Would you like it to stop? Come to a Braveheart Circle or come to a Whole Life Coach certification and it's over. And you know what really, really sucks? And I mean sucks. Men never come with the women. They never come with the women. They're always too busy. They never come. And then they wonder why their relationship stays dysfunctional. And believe it or not, not everybody, but most couples, they fear each other. And so don't bullshit me. They fear each other. And they stay together, who knows why. Most couples, their relationships are just awful. Just awful. There's no emotion, no feeling hardly there. You know? Or they're fighting all the time. You know? Do you know how we get back at these cycles? By learning how to love each other, but we got to love ourselves first, or we're not going to do it. I'm going to tell you something, and I mean this in the nicest way, but the women of the world will save the world, maybe. The men won't. They're not there. They're just not there. You know, every course we do, we have anywhere like a Braveheart Circle gets 16 people. Out of 16 people, there might be 2 men. There's usually only 2 to 4 in a class. And the class can be like 25 and there's still only 4 men, depending on the different courses. Every woman should be taking the pelvic course. It's only 3 days. Our pelvic course, the pain-free, the pelvic restoration and disease prevention, if any woman here takes it or any teenage woman takes it, doesn't matter what age you are, that's it. You know, that you got to really protect your pelvis, women. Do you not notice how they're after it? They want your ovaries, they want your uterus, infertility, bladder infections, cysts, endometriosis, fibroids. Okay, your uterus is falling right out of your vagina. Your vagina smells like fish. It stinks. Seriously, this is all man manipulated. Okay, all right, and they're just going to go in there and do chop on you. That's all it is. Just chop it out. And you know, you need to understand something, and I will tell you this: 95% of all surgery that goes on never had to happen. If you go to, what does a surgeon do? So when he tells you to go home, we'll keep an eye on it. How does he do that? He's waiting till it becomes big enough, then he'll cut it out. Because they all have parameters. And then some women will wait until something grows too big and they can't do surgery anymore. But just understand something. Everything is scar tissue. I'm not talking about scar tissue from an accident or sports injury. You're creating it through the poison food, poison thought, poison drink. It goes in and inflames, and when it inflames, it creates fibrin, and fibrin creates scar tissue. And the more inflammation you have, the more calcium you pull from your bones. And everything's a block. You do not have a pain. You have, wherever you have pain, wherever you have swelling, wherever you have stiffness, wherever you have redness, you've got a physical block of scar tissue and calcification. And we can get rid of those. So what does that mean? What does that mean if we can get rid of them? That means we can get rid of all of those symptoms. And do you know there are no diseases? They're all symptoms of not being treated by a practitioner who knows what he's doing. When you have a symptom and you first go to somebody to get help, the reality is that you can't help somebody unless you go to the cause. Well, nobody's going to the cause. If you go to the cause, it's over. If I tell you how you caused it, and you do it again, that could happen. But most people, they're smart enough. If I tell you how you caused the problem, you're not going to have it. Oh, and by the way, so anyways, we were talking about the Genome Project. I kind of got off track. So when they finished the Genome Project, guess what happened? When they were going to prove that all disease is genetic, and especially cancer. None are. That's why they couldn't release the project. They buried it. It's all epigenetic. It's not genetic. Do you think we can change our DNA and RNA? I don't know. How are you going to speak, drink, and eat tonight? What are you going to do? Something different? No, you're not. Because nobody's ever talked to you like this before. Because everyone else has stroked you and took your money. I'm not going to stroke you. I'd rather tell you the truth and then don't come to me. You do know that I don't have any materialistic needs. That's the first thing. If I had materialistic needs, and I have a lot of them, then I'm going to compromise myself for people's money, aren't I? You do know. With everything I've done and all the money I made, I lived in a 1-bedroom hotel room for the last year and a half. Happy as a pig in poo. You do know. The only vehicle I own is an electric bike. I know who I am. I'd rather scare you away, because guess what? If you can pass through what I say to you, then that means you really want it. Because if you don't really want it and you've got all these addictions and you come to me, it didn't work for me. Well, that's right. We couldn't stop you from drinking alcohol, doing sugar, smoking, toking, vaping, prescription drugs. All of this comes up against it. That's why the next clinic, guess what? People aren't going to like this. They're going to think it's really arrogant. He's really lost it. You have to fill out a form. You have to sign it. If you've got really bad addictions, if you have to come to training first. If you want to come and get emotional training, if you loved and cared for yourself, would you have an addiction? No. Sorry, but that's it. And that's why they're always going to win, because you're not good enough. You don't love me enough. You're stupid. Who would love you? Who do you think you are? You're so selfish. And guess what? As soon as you start to want to love yourself, what is your family going to say? You're so selfish. You're so selfish. And then you're going to go, well, maybe I am. Because guess what? How many people understand that the brain is not smart? It's not. Okay. Are you going to tell me that these psycho rich people are really smart? They're not smart. They're really quite stupid. Okay. And they're dangerous. They're not smart at all. Well, how'd they get all the money? Well, because they were raised in families that, guess what? Money's easy to make. You were raised in a family that money was hard to make. So you've always had poverty consciousness. And so is everybody in here. You all believe money's hard to make. Money's easy to make. God. I get offers every day. And I do, don't I, Rami? I could be a multimillionaire and lose it all and then get it all back. And I'm not bragging about that, because I really don't care about it. And you know what? It's the craziest thing. I'm trying to do something to show the world that you can be abundant. And money's not the important thing, but it's energy, and it makes things happen. But the reality is it's like, oh my God, he just wants everybody's money. Yeah, that's right. That's right. There's not another practitioner that'll do more for their practitioners than me on this planet that I know of. We do master practitioner trainings to keep teaching our practitioners after they take our course. We do 2 or 3 a week, and they're free for life. We build you your website for not 1 penny profit. Why am I doing all this? Well, because guess what? We better do something. You know what? We say we love. We say that we love. We say that, we care. You do know that we were all created by the same thing that created the universe, and we're all going back there. I don't care what your religion is, your religion, your beliefs. But understand something. After you leave here, those beliefs are pretty well down the toilet, because all our spirits have came from the same place. I'm sorry, but the same cookie jar. That's it. So, but whatever beliefs you decide you want to pick down here, doesn't matter if they're different than somebody else's. Just make sure that they're supporting unconditional love for yourself and care. That's all. If they're supporting a guilt complex, okay, or unworthy, you're never going to heal from much. And if you did, you're going to have to use a lot of willpower, and then you're just going to get sick again. So far, if you can't comprehend this, just know that all I said was 1 and 1 are 2. All I spoke was logic. This whole thing today, logic. Most of you will never spend any money and take a course, to get on course, to go and uncover your belief systems and then go, well, this one, it's gone. I'm putting this one in there though. None of you have ever taken any time to decide What computer programs are going in here? And you do know something. It doesn't matter about the computer. If I put in a contaminated computer program into the brain, what's going to happen?
Garbage in, garbage out.
Bam. That's right. So that's all it's about. So we got to get rid of, we're going to look at all the programs we've been given. I didn't say this, so understand it's a study done. 70 to 90% of all the programs your parents gave you are life-threatening, toxic. 70 to 90%. That's why I apologized to all my kids on the couch when they were young. I said, kids, we poisoned you. So just know that, but I'm here to help you anytime you want. There's no more judgment anymore, no matter what you do. And I proved it. From my kids doing drugs to doing alcohol and smashing vehicles, I never judged them. We sat down, we observed, we tried to figure out how a loving family would come together and heal each other. And I'm still doing that today. And I'll continue to have to do that today because most people don't do that, do they? They judge right away. Okay, you do something wrong, there's your punishment, right? Would you say that this is a world of justice? There's no justice in this world, just judgment. So you got to stop judging yourself. It's got to start there. And how you're going to do it, you got to get new beliefs. You got to invest in yourself. If this is not the program, or if my programs don't fit, look for somebody you know that's going to go in and stir up self-love and self-care for yourself. And then they're going to weld it into your heart. Because guess what? Your heart is what it's all about. From now on, if you make any moves or anything goes on in your life, bring it up and dip it in your heart. Dip it in total love. Don't go to your mind first. It's a landmine. Remember, 70 to 90% of the beliefs that we got from our parents are life-threatening. Did you get that? Yeah. And they didn't give them to you. They were force-fed those. And it goes back and back. That's why your mom and dad loved you the best they could. Even if they were spanking you or hurting you, they were trying to protect you. But they also are hardly in their conscious mind. I told you, people are only in their conscious mind 2% of the day. So what I'm going to do, and I just want you to understand, and it'll give you an idea of who I am and what I'm doing, what we're doing is we're creating clinics all around the world, New World Practitioner clinics. And not every one of them will have our philosophy, no matter how much they go. They may just come and learn our non-surgical, the whole life coach, and then whatever products they carry. They can carry ours or not carry ours. I don't make judgment on stuff. But the reality is right now we're creating clinics all around the world that have what's called a cardio med bed and a cell sonic. And I'll tell you why, because they're the most powerful energy medicine in the world. Okay, so do you believe that circulation is important? It's the most important thing, isn't it? Did you know that every place that you are sick or in pain or have a disease has not enough circulation? So what if we could bring the circulation back? A cardio med bed in about 3 to 4 treatments can turn around impotence. A cardio med bed, somebody who has a 90% blockage in their heart, even if we didn't change their diet. If we put them on that bed for 35 hours over a period of 6 weeks, 3 to 6 weeks, if they want to come twice a day, we'll have a brand new set of arteries in there. And we're talking about people that were supposed to go for heart surgery. It's a whole brand new set of arteries. Just by going on this, and you wear these cuffs on the bottom of your legs, and then around your pelvis, and in between your heartbeat, it contracts, and it's pushing blood through. It's astonishing, just astonishing, what it can do. It can take a person, an athlete. See what we do in our clinic is somebody comes in, we assess them, we put them through a perfect day diet. We show them what that is. We show them what real exercise is about, exercise that will lengthen, strengthen, detox, and tone. Because everybody exercises wrong, almost. And I mean everybody. Okay, the whole fitness world is to destroy your body. Did you ever notice? Think about how powerful we are as spirit human beings. Everything that they give us is to destroy us. So they only want to destroy us to get the work out of us and then just take all our money and then just take us apart. That's the game down here, guys. Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. Okay? Everybody's got their part to play. And it hasn't changed since the beginning of time. So don't tell me it has. Okay? You can be happy anywhere, anytime you want, when you are the master of your emotions. So when somebody comes, we go through a whole assessment with them. It takes about 3 hours. They'll also do thermography. They'll do a heavy metal test. Just know heavy metal tests that you do blood through in your blood, they're not real. We do a heavy metal test that will test everywhere in the body, because the worst heavy metals are stored in fat and scar tissue and in diseased tissue. Did you know that? So you're not even getting the right test. Parasite test is usually the stool, right? Your stool. Guess what? Parasites hide under the skin. They hide in the organs. So they're no good either. Do you understand how you think you're getting things and you're never getting them? Did you also know you never have to do a parasite cleanse if you learn how to do the perfect day on how to eat, drink, and think? You don't have parasite problems. You never will. Have you ever seen a worm unless it's rotting food? You only see a bunch of worms and mold and bad bacteria in a manure pile. How many people have a bloated tummy a lot? How many people are overweight by 10 pounds? How many people their tummies are sticking out? They're either sticking straight out because you're rotting inside, you got your own manure pile and you're full of gas, or your intestines are dead, and your intestine is a muscle and it's hanging down over your belt, which is choking off your prostate. How many people know that prostate cancer went up 40% in 5 years? How many people know that it's going to go up 400%? And I believe it. By 2030, 400% increase. How many people know that prostate and bowel cancer will be the leading cause of death for men? Okay. How many people know that large intestinal or bowel cancer is the fastest growing cancer? Because you're all got stinking thinking and you eat poisonous, rotten food all the time. That's why. It's all get angry. There's corner stores, liquor stores, vaping, everything. The reality is they're just trying to poison us. And because you have to understand, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, they used to make the money out of trees. So how many $100 bills could you make out of a tree? So now they do it out of plastic, because guess why? And does anybody know, we never should have went from glass to plastic. That just destroyed the whole planet. Don't be buying things in plastic. Buy them in bags, plastic bags or cardboard. Get them out of plastic right away. And if not, get yourself a structure unit. I don't know if we have one over here. Okay, it's over here. Get yourself a structure unit. You cannot drink water unless you structure it. Filtering water doesn't get rid of the frequency of all the chemicals in it. This is a structure unit. I'll give you a 90-day money-back guarantee that if you put everything that you drink through this, you're going to feel amazing. And even if you don't filter the poison out from the tap water or the bottled water, you're still not going to take it in. Anybody know about how, is the rain kind of toxic now? Coming down? Kind of. Well, guess what? Then why isn't it killing the birds, bees, flowers, trees, and hurting the microorganisms in the soil? It's not, because it was structured. And if we structure everything we drink, we protect ourselves. Even if you don't get rid of the physical part, it still can't get into your cells. Frequency is everything. I can't go into it in detail, but when I do the Braveheart course and when I do the Whole Life Coach course, we teach you everything you need to know. When you come to any of my courses, you have till 5 o'clock the first day. We'll give you your money back. And I guarantee you, by the time you come in 8 to 5 o'clock, I'll give you more health information than you've been given your whole life. And that's the truth. That's the truth. And we're doing a world tour. So I lecture here. Friday I leave here and I go to Chicago. I've got 2 major lectures there. I'm lecturing to like 500 people now. Yeah. And then I go to Stewart, and that'll be about 250. And then I go to Vancouver, and then I'm doing a personal certification for a doctor. And then I've got to go to the island and do some personal certifications. And then I come back to Stewart, Florida, April, to do the first New World Practitioner course. But if you go to NWP World Tour.com, you'll see it all on there. Understand something. Unless you're going to invest in yourself, you're not going to find yourself. And, you know, if it's not me, try to go to some place that's going to go deep. It's going to crack that coconut open and show you how beautiful you are. And that these belief systems that were never you are what are undermining your life. And they're taking you down. So when someone comes to us, we'll go through the whole perfect day scenario. We'll teach them the exercise. We'll teach them about food combining. We'll teach them about their blood type. We'll teach them about why they have these symptoms, because there is no diseases. They're just symptoms. And a symptom that is not looked after, when you get it and your body's saying, please love me, this is out of whack, and you don't do it, then we call it a chronic disease. That's all. This is such bullshit. It is such bullshit. This whole thing is bullshit. All the suffering people go through. You know, if you, I don't care what condition you're in. If you tell me that you are going to love, honor, respect yourself, clean out the cupboards, clean out the fridges, and follow our protocol by 80%, you're going to turn your whole life around. It's a 20-80 rule. You do know that most of you are only doing 5% to 10% good for yourself. The rest is 90 to 95% poisonous. You do know that, right? If I opened your fridge, we could walk through it and you'd be like, what a nightmare. What a nightmare. Anyways, so once we go through that, we create a protocol from the morning and from the minute you rise until you close your eyes. And then let's say what we do is we take a look at things and we go, okay, so we got calcification there, scar tissue there. If there's too much calcification, we'll use the cell-sonic first. Then we'll do the non-surgical. If it's mainly scar tissue, we'll go in and do non-surgical first, then the cell-sonic. There's nothing like this. You know, this is 25,000 volts. This is 25,000 volts, and it goes through liquid harmonic in here. So it becomes 25,000 volts, but it's changed into a field. Do you understand? I was saying about it earlier. Like, you know, if I eat something, right? Okay. What actually creates the healing in my body? Yeah, that's all. The food, all water, everything you take in physically leaves the body. Only the frequency stays. When you go and do vitamin A, you get the frequency of vitamin A. You actually don't have the physical part of vitamin A staying in you to create physical matter. Do you notice that? The invisible creates the physical. That's why the psychological overrules the biological. See, most people don't get this. That's how amazing you are. You were created by God Almighty. You are a spirit being and you have no control. You have no control. You've been controlled all your life, even by those you love. So anyways, so what comes through this is the field of 25,000 volts. That's why this will shut down stage 4 inflammation. And you know what? Oh, people get really pissed, especially in the medical system when I say this, because they call stage 4 inflammation cancer. Now, does it cure cancer? No. Because you have to have a personality change. You have to have a lifestyle change. Do you think you get cancer? We now know you don't get cancer because it's genetic. So why would you get it? Help me out. Your personality creates it. So if we were to change things on an emotional and physical level and the way you live your life, if we made different choices, that's all, just make different choices. How many people do you know have cancer and make different choices when they go home? They don't. They crap their pants full of fear and they go through the therapy. And then by the grace of God, let's hope that they do turn it around. Okay? All right. So what the cell-sonic does, everyone, when you're born, your bones continually fracture 24/7. They fracture continually. That's how you grow. You get little cracks. And then the ions from the bones breaking down release ions. It creates more calcium from nothing. Ion is invisible. That creates more calcium. So we're creating more calcium and growing out of nothing. An ion's invisible. When you do cell-sonic, it causes these little fractures in your bone, releases ions. So it helps to reestablish your bone, but it does more than that. Calcium ions do over 120,000 hormonal and chemical processes every second. Every second. You need to get this. So now, And what we've done is we've been able to duplicate what it's like to be young. Just like our IGF 300,000, which is made from the human growth hormone that you guys don't make anymore. You don't make human growth hormone, very little. So human growth hormone goes in the liver and it gets made into IGF 300,000. I have a product that's totally natural. Your body can't tell the difference. And it thinks it's in its 20s again. I'm telling you the truth about this stuff, guys. There's a whole world out there. You're not going to find these products in a health food store because it has to cost more than the bottle. Okay. So the Cellsonic, when it goes in, it has what we call, well, it has the highest frequency on the planet. Let me just give you, I'm going to give you what happened in the last 3 weeks. Okay. So I'm not dragging this like toilet paper. A gentleman, 71 years old. If you want to go take a look at Shalou, she did the testimonial. She's a practitioner in Barrie, Ontario. He's 71. He drives with a friend. They do the Cellsonic today. They do the Cellsonic tomorrow. I did the consultation on him. He went to the doctor. He was given 6 months to live. They said there's not a cancer cell in your body. He's on the Marigen. Okay, he's on the Thunder Shrooms, and he's following the Perfect Day diet. He's doing other things like the daily cleansing tea. He's also doing the Ultimate Coffee Enema. So he's doing his work. He wants to live. He's got purpose. He's got passion. If you don't have purpose, don't have passion, then you won't be here long. That's why people that retire usually don't hang around long. Okay. Anyway, so what'll happen is we'll do the Cellsonic, and depending on the condition, it'll depend on how often we do it. But like we said, everything is frequency. So between using the cardio bed, between using this, between teaching them the proper exercise that will lengthen, strengthen, detox, and tone, the foods that will do that, the thoughts. You know, when you go through a Braveheart healing circle, it's lighter. It's for people that are like lay people, just want to come in and go, I can't take it anymore. I'm suicidal. I don't like my life. I don't know what I'm going to do. My marriage is on the rocks. I don't know. My sickness, I'm not getting any better. A Braveheart circle that we do for 7 days, I go around and we go emotional, nutritional, we do body work on you. Well, I'll take any area that you want. If somebody's got a problem with something, I'll prove it to you. I'm just going to do a couple light therapies on people and just prove. I'll work on you. How about this? In between 5 and 10 minutes, and I'll do more for that shoulder, knee, neck problem than anybody's ever been able to do, because it's all about scar tissue. See, let's go back. What time is it now? Okay, so it's 3:30. Yeah, so we'll break up here in a bit, and I'll do a couple of treatments here, because you've got enough to think about now, don't you? Or not think and run. Okay. All right. Where was I? What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So everybody needs to get this. Does everybody know what old age is? It's displaced calcium and scar tissue. Yeah. You can believe it or not, we know how to totally reverse it. So what does that mean? That means that you will get older, but you will never get old. Yeah. Do I act like a 66-year-old man? Yeah, I'll kick your ass. I'll tell you that right now. Not on a physical level. I'm talking about on an energetic level. Because there's nothing aggressive about me. I'm going to tell you something right now. It's about living your life full. It's about living your life full. Loving your life full. It's about letting your family off the hook. Are you tired about complaining about your symptoms and your aches and your pains? Are you tired of not being able to help the ones you love because you know shit? And I swore, because you do. You don't know what to do. So then you get all fearful and you feel like a broken partner. I was here to protect, respect, and honor and help and love my family and help them. I don't know what to do. It's not your fault. I guarantee you, if anybody comes to a Braveheart Circle, whole life coach, it's over one time. Am I right? Now, it's over, meaning that you will have the answers. But guess what? Your family won't want them. Your husband won't want it. Your wife won't want it if they didn't come here. They're not drinking that Kool-Aid because they can only love themselves this much. They can't come up here. They're not with everybody else in understanding this. They don't have any freedom. They didn't get the freedom yet. You can't get freedom until you're off the hook. What are you guilty of? And I guarantee you, everybody here, what are you guilty of? Where do you believe you're a sinner or a failure, or you're on the hook with your family because you failed them? That has to end today. You have to get rid of it today. That is the disease. You can't have a vibration like that and not be sick. A sick thought gives a sick body. So anyway, so this gentleman here goes to his doctor, lung cancer, stage 4, gone. Not a cancer cell. That's what the doctor said. I didn't say that. If you don't believe me, go watch it. And if you don't believe me and you're in the medical system, then guess what? I'll give you Shalou's phone number, and then you can call this guy up and he'll show you the reports. Are we done yet? Don't tell me when I'm lying. Don't tell me when I'm trying to exaggerate. And just so everybody knows, I won't have a clinic, so I'm not trying to get anybody to come. Because always thinking, oh my God, it's just trying to get everybody to spend their money there. Well, so now I'm shutting the clinic down 10 days. So that means you'll have to go to one of my other therapists. So I won't get any of the money. So now you can relax. Give me another one. Okay. So this one is Margaret. Margaret's out of Chicago. Okay. A boy, he's an athlete. Very good athlete. He's 14 years old. He breaks his hand. Doctors can't see him. They can't, they're understaffed. They make an appointment for him to come back in a week to get a cast. So mother takes him to Margaret. He gets 150 pulses on this side and this side. Guess what? Goes into the doctor to get the cast. What's the doctor say? What do he say? The bone's already grown together. And he says, I don't know how this is. This is some kind of miracle. The bone's growing together. I should not already grown.
I have the pictures here.
Yeah.
She's my friend.
Okay. Okay. She's got pictures. See, I didn't even know she had pictures. Okay. I can keep going. I did not do this, but there's a practitioner that had somebody that had their spine cut, wheelchair. They're now walking. It caused the neurons and nerves and synapses to come together. Yeah. So whether you believe this or not, we'll have somebody come in and they've got a calcified fibroid tumor. I call a tumor something that's more way inflamed. The medical system would call it cancer. Did you know that like 15 years ago, they said stop saying fibroid, call everything tumor? And we've all been raised that there's a fibroid and then there's a tumor, right? Which is cancerous. So now they're well, why would they do that? Tell me why. Come on. Because it scares the living crap out of everyone. Thank you. No more fibroids. Everybody's got tumors. Okay. You wouldn't believe it if you don't know it until you see it. You got to live it. You know, I'll have people come to me and they've got ringing in their ears so bad they want to off themselves. Okay. And we'll do one treatment of non-surgical and Masonic, and not all the time. I didn't say it's 100%. Because I can't come up against the sugar addict, the alcoholic. I can't come up against the person that's full of anxiety all the time and living in a relationship that they should have left him a long time ago, or they should have broken up a long time ago and went on their way because she's trying to rise or he's trying to rise and they're not going to. You can't heal people that are in toxic relationships. Remember, the emotional is always going to override the physical, and that is life. I had to make a decision about 3 weeks ago after the Marketplace show, CBC played that show. I'm going to stand powerful and move forward. And they're going to keep doing stuff. They're going to keep talking, aren't they? When people's money is threatened, what if people actually got their power back? What if you had the power of love, like power of self-love? Do you know that you're unstoppable? That there would be nobody that could control you? Should we take it just for a joke? No, probably. Just know this, there is no government that can control me. There's no medical system that can control me. They can't take anything away from me. I don't belong to any organization. And then you can say, well, you know, you can't call yourself a doctor. Doctor means teacher. And Hippocrates would roll over in his grave if he saw what was going on today. And if I'm not a doctor, then there is no such thing. I am a doctor. I'm really good at what I do. I don't need people's approval. People that come to me, I'm going to help them. But I can't help them if they don't want to take massive personal action and take a look at their personality. Why so sad? You're sad. You have sadness that's so deep inside of you. Yeah, not sad right now. You have a sadness real deep inside of you. Yeah, you'll figure it out. Yeah. Nervous. A lot. No, you.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm about to start from the chair. I'm like trying to come away.
Yeah. That we use that excuse. We use that excuse. You can take a look at anybody's and figure out everybody's personality, the way they look, their face, their color, their energy, their light. My God, if you don't get that, you don't get anything. The shape of your body, the way you hold yourself. Come on. Take a look at people. Clue into their energy, and then you'll clue into their personality. And guess what? You're always going to lie. You're always going to lie until you're totally happy with who you are. When you're totally happy with who you are, you don't have to lie anymore. Well, that's not true. I'll always lie to a government official because I just need them to go away. They're like a mosquito. Okay? Right? And you know, it's like also I went to the dentist and my dentist is really great. And she goes, you know, though, I cannot do that. And I cannot do that work if you're not going to take antibiotics. And I knew that it would just torture her because she's been tortured by the dental association. So I just said, yeah, I'll take them. But I'll never take them. I'm not taking anything. You know, antibiotics are a form of chemo, right? Oh, see, you know, what do you know? You don't know anything about health. And it's not your fault. So when I say that, I don't mean, what do you know? I didn't say, what do you know, dummy? I didn't mean it that way. Holy crap. I'd be dead already if I wasn't a health practitioner. You don't get this personality I have. I had this personality before I became a health practitioner. And so I got like a AAA personality. So if I'm not doing good, just think of the bad I'd be doing. Whoa, crap. I'd be taking myself down and all my whole family. They all would be gone. It's true. If you're not self-loving, you're self-hating. Did you get that? You can't. No, I'm neutral. There's no such thing as neutral. You're not a car. You're an emotional being. You're either loving yourself or hating yourself. And you might be just not doing it at a high vibration, but you're still doing it. So you better get it. You better get it. So you're either got a slight smile on your face and you can feel your lungs opening up and you're taking these deep, beautiful breaths, or you're not even living. You're not even living. Yeah. So I'm a little hard pill to swallow, right? But I'm only meant for the 1 out of 10,000 people. And I already know that. So I did not try to disrespect anybody here today. And some of you are going to leave here feeling like I disrespected you. But what I did was I gave you the wake-up call. Now you can decide to either show up or not show up. But it's going to be very difficult because why? You're all so needy for love. And you're also needing to be accepted because you've never been accepted. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't care if you accept me. I'm already accepted. I don't need you to accept me. I don't need your approval. I'm not going to take anything personal if you don't like me. So you got to get that, because that's the way it's going to be. Like, your family's functional. Your family's not functional. I've never found a family functional. There's a lot of sadness in families. And they're sad because guess what? They're low vibrational. Low vibrational people are sad. And low vibrational people are sad because they have sad beliefs. That's it. Everybody can be healthy and wealthy on this planet. And that's the God's truth. You know, 99.9% of the population thinks that money's dirty. Money doesn't grow on trees, you know. Don't want to get too much money, I'll get dirty. But meanwhile, everybody's trying to get it. They'll even lie and cheat and steal from each other, won't we? And we'll do what? We'll say, we'll make people put a mask on and say, I've got to do my job. It's my job. That's because they're so low vibrational. This is all they think they can do. If I don't make the money, I don't make food. If I don't have food, I don't pay my rent. Oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm only getting started. I'm only getting started. They can't take anything away from me. My destiny is to be a high vibrational spirit being and do a call out to the 1 out of 10,000. And it is only 1 out of 10,000. The rest are never going to be up for this. And I get it, and it's okay. But that's the way it's always been. I don't take secondhand anything. Do I, Rami? Do I live like this? Am I, and I'm not intense. Am I fun to be with? All the time. Because guess what? It's all just a joke. No, it's not, Darrell. There's a war in da-da-da. No, it's not, Darrell. My friend has da-da-da. No, I'm having a good time. I'm going to have a good time all day today. Because the suffering's not going to stop, because you run suffering programs. And I'm not going to suffer for you. It's not happening. And if that means nobody wants to come to my lectures, nobody wants to come to my trainings, no one wants to come, don't come. Because when you find your passion and purpose, you don't even think about money. It's so easy to make. You may not believe this, but I don't even know how much money I ever have in my bank accounts. I don't even carry money. You know what? It's the first time in 12 years that I've carried my Visa cards and cash. And that's because my partner's not with me for the first time in 12 years. She carries it all because I lose it. It's always on the floor. It falls out of my pocket. I want nothing to do with money. You know why? Because people are always saying, that's Dr. Wolfe. He's after your money. Well, of course, because they can't do anything else because they got no power over me. I don't care. Just really show your power. Don't buy any of my stuff. I don't care. It sells good enough anyway. Jeepers creepers. You have to understand, nobody's got any power over me. It's not going to happen. Those people that are meant to see this are going to do it. But you're going to piss people off if you try to find yourself. And then guess what? Go ahead and try to be happy when the whole family's into, oh, look at it, it's 3:15 and we're all going to get miserable. And then you try to have a slight smile. You selfish prick, you. Can't you see we're suffering? Yeah, I can. That's why I'm smiling. Because it's 3:15. I knew it was time. And every one of you run programs. You actually run, every one of you run programs. And the problem is that you are running, most of you run programs, you push each other's pain buttons, don't you? You don't push each other's love buttons. You don't go building each other up. Darrell, you're a piece of shit. I'm sure. I'm sure I am. You're a thief. I know I've done that. I've stolen from people. You're a conner. I'm sure I do that too. But now that I love and care for myself, I don't mind looking at myself because it's the only way I'm going to change. And I'm not changing for you. I need to change for me. You all make up your own stories about God in your life. Well, guess what? I'm going to be such a high vibrational being that I'm going to blow off of this game and go to a new one. Okay? Where there's not just a handful of psycho rich people that are murdering people all the time, and you guys are putting up with it. I can't take it. I don't know how many more lifetimes I can sit back and watch everybody poison themselves. I don't want to do it. You know, I owned what was called the Wolfe Clinic, and I closed it, right? And I went to, I closed it, and I moved to the rainforest for 4 years, just to get away from everyone. I walked away from, and I mean this, a multi-million-dollar business. I walked away from it. And I'm really glad I did, because I walked away and business was not the important thing. It was minding my business, learning and trying to find out what I really am. What am I? Well, it wasn't that difficult. I just had to get rid of all the BS. I was created by God Almighty. I'm a spirit being having a physical journey. And then I've decided to come to a planet where my brain is not constructed properly. That 90% of it is a subconscious. And if anybody repeats anything long enough and strong enough, you believe it. Look at the crap you believe about yourself. So anyways, I realized that. So when I came back into business, I came back to business 9 years ago. Did you know what I came back with? $2,200. I successfully, between separating from my wife and investing in things, got rid of $3.8 million. I had $2,200 when I restarted this. And I said to my partner, I said, you know what, Lori, don't ever tell me how much money we have. Just tell me when I can't play. And that was the deal. And that is the deal. And anybody who knows me knows that's true. I'm never talking about what I'm going to buy next. It's what adventure I'm going to have next. I'm going to have a good time, even though the rest of you have a stick up your butt and you're so miserable most of the time. And you need to have a few drinks to loosen up, or a toke, or you need some drugs to calm yourself down. And that's because you're denying your true self. And I'm not talking about anybody in here. You're probably, none of you are addicted to anything. I'm sure you're all just totally healthy and wealthy and all around the board. So don't take anything ever personal. But the reality is today I said, do you want something different? And what'd you say? You said yes. Did I give you different? And then it irked you because your subconscious isn't ready for that much different. You just got to trickle in. I'm in the process of eating right. No, you'll be dead long before that. You'll be dead long before it. And you're not going to ever be dead. Your physical body's going to rot out. So people don't die. They just leave. Their spirit leaves. And the only reason why you go early is because you rotted out. Cars rust, people rot. And if you didn't know so, just smell your own bowel movements. God, it could peel the wallpaper off in the bathroom, for God's sakes, and burn people's eyes. Why do you think it smells like a manure pile? You're rotting out. Why do you think your farts are bad? Why do you think you smell under your armpits? Why do you think when you roll over to kiss your wife and she goes, please, somebody pooped in your mouth, go brush your teeth? And that was because of the hot air coming off your manure pile. Why do you think you have eczema and psoriasis? Because you have leaky gut, but there's no such thing as leaky gut. Did you know that? It's leaky large intestine. How many people know that if you did therapeutic vomiting and you cleaned out your large intestine and you did the ultimate coffee enema, you could save your life and turn it right around? And people, you ever have that, I feel sick to my stomach, I feel emotionally upset. Well, then get some warm water. I can't go through it right now, but you can look it up in my library. We tell you how to do therapeutic vomiting. Why do you want to swallow all the BS that everybody gives? You make me sick to my stomach. Tell you, start doing therapeutic vomiting, get all that acid out. Because they want you to become so acidic that it makes holes in you. And then guess what? You need to have You need to grow tumors so you can store all the acid. What do you think's in that? What do you think's in a tumor? Hate, self-hate is in a tumor. Whether you created it on an unconscious or subconscious level, it's self-hate. So wait a minute here. You're trying to tell me that people who have cancer have hate? Yeah. They hate themselves on some level. They hate life on some level. You know, I hate the way the world is. You can't do that. Mind your own business. I hate chemtrails. You can't do that. Because they know you can't do anything about it. So they're going to keep doing it. Just keep bitching. See what happens. See how well that goes. Rami said, why don't you, believe it or not, I'm a resident of Canada, Mexico, and now United States. So I don't know where I want to live. The reality is, she says, you should set up here. I love Texas. I love the people of Texas. I really do. I'm not just saying it. It's not like I go to each lecture and go, oh, I love the people, you know, but I really do love Texas. But the only thing that would stop me is there's chemtrails every day. I'm never here and there's not chemtrails. They're really, and that's because you guys are arrogant little pricks. You won't put your masks on. So, you know, you're going to have to taught a lesson. That's why. The other thing is, you know, living in Mexico, they can't afford pesticides and chemicals. So I get to buy organic when I don't have to pay organic prices. And there's no chemtrails. And every day is beautiful. Holy crap. And then I go to the ocean and I swim for 45 minutes. Walk along the beach and watch the beautiful sunsets. So no, I don't think I'll live here. I think I'll visit here.
Mexicans also, they said no GMOs in the wild in Mexico.
Yeah, no, there's no GMOs there either, except the GMO corn.
Yeah.
And the GMO corn,
Was a deal.
I know, was a deal that was made by Monsanto. And how many people know that Bayer bought Monsanto? Okay, all right. How many people know that Bayer caused the First and Second World War? How many people know that Bayer was the ones that actually did Nazi Germany? Yeah. Bayer aspirin. It's just an aspirin.
Take it every day.
Yeah. I don't know if these shows won't get taken down, maybe on Facebook though. Yeah. But that doesn't matter. I don't really care. You could have it all if you wanted it. You're going to have to just not get angry. You don't have to fight for it. You got to love for it. You actually have to love yourself. How fast are you going to let yourself off the hook next time you make a mistake? How fast are you going to let yourself off the hook the next time that your husband or your child calls you down or swears at you? Just smile. You know? Families are really screwed up really badly right now. And it's going to get worse. See, the more fear they do, the more beer you drink, the more wine you drink, the more ice cream you eat. Remember, and here's the good thing about Mexico, is you can hardly find any big bags of chips or any big anything. Everything's small. But you know what's killing them down there? Huh? The processed vegetable oils. It's killing them. Processed vegetable oils and tortillas. Okay, corn tortillas. It's killing them. They're all addicted to the corn tortillas. Huh?
The GMO in the corn.
Yeah, and guess what GMO corn does? Or GMO anything. It goes in and it causes these little razor blade slices like in the brain and in your intestine. So now you've got leaky brain and leaky gut. That's where you get it from. Every candy, every chip, everything junk is a GMO process, and it's going to kill you. So make your own popcorn with organic butter, okay, and sea salt, and mix a little bit of coconut MCT oil on it. Oh my God, it's delicious. Okay, I go through probably 10 to 12, maybe 15 mango popsicles a week. That's how I get my fruit. I don't like eating fruit, but I love mango popsicles. And sometimes I'll have 2 a day. So you got to find out what makes you happy. What's your treat? And go for your treat. But the treat is supposed to be a treat, not a trick. And that's why they call it trick or treat. Oh, I could tell you stories. Every holiday has something behind it to try to bring down the human population. Every holiday. Think about it. Every holiday. God, you don't get together with your family unless you're trying to kill yourself. It's true. Yeah. And that's because guess what? You're no fun to be with. And who would love you? Right? So then we compromise ourselves all around the board. Anyways, it's 4:00. I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. Thanks for joining us. And I will be lecturing in Chicago and Stewart. And we'll be on and we'll do some one-a-days this week. And just know this. Go to the mirror right now and go look up my Braveheart Oath and see if you can say it 10 times. And every time you say it, look in your eyes and say it with more love and more conviction. I bet you can. Well, maybe you can. 3, 2, 1. You got this, Braveheart.